So, hello and welcome to the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It is qualifier race number 3 of April. I'm back in the studio. My name's Matt Payne, and I'm in the studio with the one, the only, the returning legend that is Emma Martin. Emma, nice to have you back in the studio after what has been a couple of weeks off. Well, it hasn't been a couple of weeks off.
Hold on. It's lovely to be back, everybody. I'm looking forward to qualifier race number 3 in April, and we're coming from Arabia. I've not had a couple of weeks off. I've been doing other things. Well, today we are doing the things that are Tel Morib. 34.7 kilometres of racing, 335 metres of climbing. The riders come out of the pen. It's a flat run out of the start, but then very quickly they hit the rollers here in Arabia through the Aldar HQ sprint, through sprint number 2, up the first climb of the day. It's only the aquarium climb, 3.2 kilometres, average gradient 2.5%. We will see riders shred off the back. We come down the descent, then up the Liwa Desert climb. This one is nasty. It might say 1.9 kilometres at 3.5%, but boy, is that a steep wall in front of the riders when they hit it. We then transition through Tel Marib itself to the final kicker of the day, where the checkered flag is at the top. It's 800 metres only, but it's at 10%. That will, I predict, decide the race today.
Kind of where the finish line is where those results are compiled. Got to say a massive thank you to everybody who has subscribed to the channel over the last few weeks. Great to have you with us here on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel and, of course, on Twitch TV. Now, with our 6 race categories taking to the race start, our first race category, as always, our Category 6. And we're going to kick off with our teams of the Kitty Hawk Racing, represented by Jessica Hamilton, Manon Holtman, and Rona Tangulon. We've got Level Phoenix Squad. And they are declared as Camilla Botero, Daniela Londono, and Rachel Hooker. They are but 6 of our riders racing here in what is a good-sized race field today. We're just going to go into countdown, then we're going to run through some of the race results for these riders once they get out and away from the pens. Category 6, Emma, first race away in qualifier race number 3.
It is indeed. We are in April. For those of you who celebrate, it is Easter Sunday. And who wants to chase the Easter eggs around the garden in the rain when you can be on your bike and coming out of the start pen on the Sunday Race Club? And out they go onto the boardwalk. And fast and furious, the Category 6 riders are away. Jill Sarginson leading the charge at the moment. Melissa Scriven up there as well. Angie Solizano is in the mix. Birdie and Driscoll is there as well. Jessica Hamilton, now we know she's got strong sprinting legs. How are those sprinting legs going to go today?
Well, we had some great racing over the last couple of weeks, and I know, Emma, you were keeping up with as much as you could, keeping an eye on everything. Busy last week with the first round of the mountain bike eliminator, the XCE World Cup.
Yeah, it was indeed. Tajikistan, it came from Central Asia, so really interesting country and region.
And for me, it was kind of spreading mountain biking into regions that doesn't always happen, sort of breaking the boundaries like we see on esports. And I think for me, Category 6 is all about breaking boundaries. It's all about taking riders who maybe never ridden before, new people coming back into the sport and doing something different.
Well, can I tell you who has broken a boundary?
Go on.
Rona May Joy Mayer has broken the boundary between Category 6 and Category 5 because she has won last week, which has moved her up to Category 5 for this week. So I'm hoping she's going to have a really good race today in Category 5. For me, that's a really, really well-deserved promotion up to Cat 5. Sarginson was second last week. We've already seen her on the front of the group. And Quap was third. Giuliano Agudelo was fourth. And Juliette Narvaez was fifth last week. Total of 27 riders on the start sheets today in Category 6. It is the third qualifier. Not everybody choosing to do all 3 qualifiers because 2 verified rides are what progress you to the monthly final. And you know what? The April monthly final? That's next Sunday.
It is. It's not all that far away. So, an important race today for many riders. Now, if you are new to the Sunday Race Club, just a quick overview for you. We have the women's race first. We then follow that with the men's race. Each of the races has 6 categories in it, and each category gets a separate race start. Category 6 is our standard race category, moving up to 5, 4, 3, 2, and then category 1. The main prize and the main race result is a scratch race. So based on whoever goes over the line first, being our first rider, then the second riders, third, then fourth, and then away we go. And then from there, we also have our sprint competition, our climbs competition, and of course, we have the segment prizes as well on the way through. Now, Emma, you've been crunching the stats. Some cracking rides been done in the last couple of weeks because, of course, you are the person who does all of the data for us in the team. So, who would you say here is likely to be, based on this course, the rider on this course that's likely to do well? Will it be Rotanglo?
Well, shall I tell you something? This course for me today really does. Well, I think we're going to see a big group going to the bottom, even in category 6. I think we're going to see them coming. We haven't been on this course, on the Tel Marib course, since January. Back in January, when the women raced Tel Marib, it was Rona Tanglian who took the win. Arias was second, Flores, Driscoll, and Ruby. So Tanglian, I think, is going to have a little psychological edge because she knows they've only raced this course once ever before. And she is the only woman in category 6 to ever win on this course before.
Well, let's see if she can maintain a 100% record. I wonder if anybody else has got a 100% record on this so far. They will have, but will they have by the end of the day? I guess all the rest of the categories so far, no winners have. Okay, let's move from category 6 up 1 category. My mask can manage the 6 plus moving up a cat to category 5. The Black Panthers team, they're going to be headed up by Pamela Mongeli. We've got the Crank Queens, which is Musa Al Mansouri and Seba Al Rai in the mix here today, and an almost identical number of entrants.
An exact identical number of entrants, 27.
Oh, okay.
No, almost about it.
Well, I was just looking at the size of the spread of names on my sheets of paper.
Well, I can tell you as the final seconds tick down, 27 riders on the start sheets. Anna Frias, who took the win last week, is on the start sheet today. Is she down there on the start line? We will very shortly find out. But it is Claudia Gentili and Katie Bago who take them out of the start pen. Strong start here. Kirchner there. Al Ray is there as well. Now, she joined the Sunday Race Club in category 6 and has progressed to category 5. Strong performances from her as well, which is always great to see. Natalia Idzik in the mix. Marshall is here too. Now, Marshall has also come up not long ago from category 6. Petra Aitken is here too. Camilla Zugala is also a strong rider, and it's really interesting. 3 seconds separated the top 6 riders in category 5 on the finish line last week. Is it going to be a similar story today?
Oh, it's going to be really interesting to see. And you mentioned Seba Al Rai, she's on our screens at the moment. Her progression, I mean, a great race won. I mean, what a way to make your debut on the Sunday Race Club, take the win in 6, then moved up, but did not disgrace herself by any stretch of the imagination. Oh, my goodness. No, 15th last week. I thought was a really fantastic result. And this is a course, like you say, that although we've got this big mountain in the middle of the aquarium climb, and then you've got the steep climb, my nemesis when I'm riding on which is the Leeward Desert climb, and it's quite bumpy the first half, you do get that recovery for the second half, don't you? And that means that then everybody's going into that last climb pretty much in a fresh state.
Oh, I think you can be really, really clever on this course in Tel Marib because the first climb, the aquarium climb, is completely draftable. And you really need to think about your position in the group in that climb. In fact, you need to think about your position in the group on the whole of this route. There are only 2 places on this course today where you really need to push on. First, the Leeward Desert climb, which comes at 19.5 kilometres. And then on that final climb towards the finish line. The rest of this course, you need to be sat in the draft and conserving as much energy as possible.
And those bunch skills, that's sitting in the draft, modulating your pace, that's just getting by. The best way to gain that is just by riding lots of races, events, training sessions, etc.
Yeah, you just have to practice.
Yeah, I guess it makes perfect. We will see.
Ah,
We will see.
makes permanent, not perfect. Coach Emma, practice does not make perfect, because if you're practicing incorrectly or the incorrect technique, you're making something that is not right permanent. Practice makes permanent.
Maybe that's where I've been going wrong with my riding all these years. I've been putting in bad practice and making them permanent. Now, we did mention at the start, as the riders were in the pens, Palmer Monkelly of the Black Panthers squad is going to be in and racing today. Got the big headphones on, getting those tunes in as she goes through the Ferrari world. And another rider who has certainly made herself at home here within the racing, and be interesting to see how she goes on this course. You talk about the draft there, Emma, coming through and being absolutely critical. We're seeing the pace at the moment. I mean, we're doing 30 kilometres an hour. So it's not flat out, but we are on a climb at 30k an hour. So it's still pushing pretty hard.
Yeah, and there are some small bumps in the road here, and we just saw that go to around 2%. It does roll slightly, but at that level and at this pace, the draft is strong. And you take a look at Natalia Idzik, a very, very well known, established rider on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club, right at the back of the group. They're about to come into the sprint. We've got one rider on category 5 going off the front, which is technically an interesting move coming into the sprint. But Idzik sat right on the back, and I'll tell you why. Because she is going for that first sprint today, and she's going to utilise that draft, and she's going to work her way right through that group.
Well, we'll see if it is rewarded with a sprint segment prize at the end of today. 2 categories away of our 6. The next category waiting to go, our category 4 in those red jerseys. The full 4 squad of Simkin and Dowling, the Pedal Queens with De Grazia and Howeiler, Power of Red with Kawaseska and Ciciola. We've got the Rhinos with Van Rossum and Gino, and the Wheels of Fire squad represented by Lopez here today. A run out and a number of teams riding as teams today, because of course once we get to the finals, that team competition comes into play. So category 4, reaching that halfway stage with our 3rd category. Off they go. Time to hit the roads of Arabia to head out on the Tel Marib course. 34.7k distance, 335 kilometers, 335 meters of climbing.
You could 335 kilometers of climbing.
There might be a slight typo on my notes. It might be, has to be said. There is a slight typo on my notes, and I think I've actually included them on Emma's as well.
You have.
There you go. So incredible amount of climbing. You could potentially do it's probably as real a space mission as those guys in blue might have done. You never know. Anyway, that would take you into outer space, 335 kilometers of climbing.
335 kilometers of climbing would take you a very, very long way.
It would. So we're not going to do that. We're going to only do 335 meters of climbing in the 34.7 kilometers distance. Along the way, 3 sprints. And we have been quite quiet about those sprints. In category 4, let's go first of all to category 4, because they're just out of the pens. Let's run through the runners and riders, and then let's hit that sprint super quick.
Yeah, so 28 riders on the start sheets in category 4. Maria Zabala coming up to category 4 from category 5. Great to see her come through. Now, Nina Dowling, who took first place last week, is here today on the start sheet. So is Melissa Simkin. She took second. Both those part and parcel of the full 4 squad. I think they are lining it up nicely for next weekend's finale. Rosa Herrera on the screen. The woman who is the epic crochet woman of the Sunday Race Club, with all those Sunday Race Club dolls. She is phenomenal, and I'll tell you something, she can ride a bike and put the power down as well. So Herrera in the mix as well. Randy Gino is here. She took the sprint competition last week in category 4. Elos Goodall and Alzat rounded out the top 5. Dowling also taking that climb competition. So some really, really strong riders in here. And I'm expecting, as one of the teams are called, Wheels of Fire.
Yes, burning up the road.
Yes.
and all those sorts of things. So, category 4 up and on the way. Now, the sprint segment, you touched briefly on the technique of going off the front, maybe not being as efficient as going from the back and using the draft and utilizing all of the dynamics on the way through. Do you want to give us a quick roundup of categories 5 and 6 sprints so far?
I can, because the Aldar HQ sprint came at 2.5 kilometres into the race. Category 5 and Category 6 have already gone through that point. And we did mention Category 6, Jessica Hamilton has been the ever-dominant sprinter. In fact, that is her focus on the Sunday Race Club, and that is the race she really, really pushes for. Going through that first sprint, she has indeed picked up that sprint with an average watts of 746. Boy, that woman has some power. Birdie Driscoll came in second. Melanie Skitsko in third in that Category 6 competition through that first sprint. In Category 5, we saw Natalia Idzik on the back of the group. You can see her. Oh, you can't see her in the group. It's Jessica Hamilton you can see on your screens at the moment. But Natalia Idzik, we saw her at the back of the group. We were talking about drafting and we looked at her positioning in the group. That has indeed worked for her because she's come through and she has indeed picked up the most points and taken that segment in Category 5. Pamela Mongeli has come through for second in Category 5 and Claudia Gentili for third. So lots of really strong competition and really, really great execution from Idzik, showing us very, very clearly on the screen the specific technique to sprinting on MyWhoosh.
Don't forget, you can practice that sprint technique in lots of races as well. The Rampage Racing up and racing. Now, in with Hanna Pekakova, one of the riders who has been battling for the sprint points with Randy Gino in Category 4. They have been wheel to wheel pretty much every week since the two of them got together. It's going to be interesting to see how they go here. So into the sprint we go. We're going to see that speed pick up, whether they're going for the sprint or whether they just want to stay with the group, because naturally this pack is going to move quicker. Just keeping an eye on Pekakova sitting down here, just keeping the pressure on here as off the front goes Roda Grazia Majeska. Pekakova right in the mix here. And watching the rider versus the avatar there, that speed pickup was quick. Pekakova, cool as a cucumber, sat there, just pedaled it through.
And I think that's exactly what Pekakova was doing, because I think this is a type of course where Pekakova with those skills could indeed take a top 3 today. I think that's what she's focusing on.
Okay, let's dive in with Category 3. So we're into our second half of races up and away. In with Helen McKay. Category 3 takes us up into the around a slightly bigger race field today in Category 3.
Yeah, Category 3, our largest race field today in the women's race off the start sheets. Holly Bergin is here. She took the sprint competition last week. We've also got Carolina Lennon from the Freewheeling Spirit. She took third place last week. Julia Walkenhurst took the climb competition and second overall. Hannah Hakkinen took fourth and Beltran took fifth. Brittany Litton, who took the win, well, she's gone to Category 2.
Congratulations to Brittany Litton. Now, let's just run you through the team riders, those riding in the teams. This is a good indication for potentially next week. The April Flowers squad, Holly Bergin, coach on MyWhoosh, with Stephanie Briggs in that team. The Freewheeling Spirits of Gemma Daniels, Carolina Leinonen, that Emma just mentioned, and Rebecca Johnson, in fact, make up the Freewheeling Spirits team today. Lee-Sophie Ramett, who can never be discounted, particularly on a course like today's, in the Profita Rolling squad. Golden Light riding for, well, Team Golden Light, and Katrin Nilsson riding for the Yellow squad. It'll be really interested to see how the team dynamics play out today. I suspect we're not going to see too much team tactics, because it is, for me, in some ways, a course of survival. Now, riders that I want to watch out for on the course today, I don't know what you think about this in Category 3. Stefani Piccolo has had a quiet month so far, and I think could well start to come back in towards the final. I definitely wouldn't be discounting Laura Taconis either in there. I thought Julia Walkenhurst and Julie Montgomery, the two Julies, always wants to be reckoned with. And I know Angel Ann Hadlock has been racing hard on the road, because there's a lot of cycling festivals in and around the UAE at the moment. I know she's been on the podium multiple occasions.
Well, for me, I have to say, I don't disagree with you there. I think Julia Montgomery could be one to watch today. She's got a great sprint on her. And this course, for me, is actually about watts rather than watts per kilo.
Okay.
Because of the,
Would you care to expand that?
nature of the course. So there's a balance. We talk about watts per kilo all the time. We talk about watts per kilo. Watts per kilo are really great if you're climbing. Yeah.
So power to weight.
Power to weight. But if you're on a flatter course or flatlands, the actual watts in the algorithm are more important. And for me, these riders who have strong power, who have great sprints, this for me is the type of course for them, because also the Leeward Desert climb is short. It's steep and it's short, like the climb at the end of the course, steep and short. They are the perfect type of climb where there's a real balance between sprint power and climber's power, and that relationship between the two of them. And it benefits not one type of rider, this course. So we've got multiple riders with multiple skill sets who are going to race really well on this course today. We've got Heather Shanks, we've got Angel Hadlock, we've got Kimberly Miller. All of them could well be in the end of this race together, going into that final 800 metres. And the question is, for me, personally, I think we're going to see someone with fabulous sprint power, if they can hold it, cross that line first.
Let's see if the prediction is right. Which one of our three riders you can see on our screens will be there? Really interesting. Heather Shanks from Scotland there. Angela Hadlock, who's based in the UAE. And Kimberly Miller, which, if I'm not much mistaken, is the German flag down there on the left-hand side of your screen. Into the sprint we go. You can see the pace pick up. And it is critical whether you're going for this sprint or not to take the pace up here.
Yeah.
You can see Hadlock here really giving it big beats. Shanks in and out of the saddle there. And Miller seated, keeping with that group.
Yeah, and you're quite right, Matt. Even if you're not contending the sprint, you have got to manage your power to stay with the pack when the pack and members of that pack are going for the sprint. You don't want to be gapped off the back of the group. So a rider will manage their effort going into that sprint, even if they are not contending it, but it will be a managed effort up to zone 5. They'll know exactly what power they need to hit to stay with that group. They'll hold that zone 5 power going through the sprint, and then they'll drop back down into the group and they won't have got a gap.
Interesting tactics, and we'll see if they can execute Emma's game plan there on the way through. One rider that has done really well, no surprises in some ways, because of the way we saw them go flying through the group there, and that is Camilla Moroz, who is the rider in the green skin suit at the moment. Now, last week was her first week in the Sunday Race Club, and actually got 15th position on her debut in the Sunday Race Club last week in Category 3 on the Wollongong course. And that is steeper, isn't it? Because we've got 17% slopes. We don't have 17% slopes here. But it is, in some ways, very similar. You've got this big climb in the middle. Well, and then you've got the Leeward Desert climb. And then, so you've got two climbs, and then you've got the end climb.
Well, yes, I agree. And I'm just taking a little look at Camilla and her background in cycling. She was 6th last year in the individual time trial in Poland in 2024. She didn't finish the road race, but I can tell you she's a strong time trialer. And as an under 23, she finished 2nd in the individual time trial, and that was back in 2022.
So a relatively young rider. Everybody's young compared to me these days.
But she's a strong rider,
but he's very strong rider and a medalist at the National Championship, so definitely not one to discount. Okay, back in with the riders on our screens in Category 6. There are leading riders. They set off first. They are now on to the first of our climbs. First climb coming at 12.2k. We're at 12.3. Now, let's talk very quickly about the aquarium climb. This is categorized as being a steady climb. It's one of those climbs, I mean, that you said earlier in the show, it's draftable from bottom to top dependent on just how fast everybody takes this. And that means that being able to sit in the wheels and conserve energy is just as important almost as being able to put down the watts per kilo, the power to weight. this is a big group coming in. One or two riders have been distanced. Is it game over for anybody who's not at the front of this? Because this is stretched out already.
Well, and this is the nature of this climb, and this is why I think it's really interesting, because this is what this aquarium climb does. It does stretch the group. Rather than riders going off the front, riders go off the back, and that's exactly what we're seeing. Now, the riders off the back, if they are, well, I was going to say if they're strong enough, they can actually close those gaps down. But there's a reason why they're off the back. There's a really strong pace at the moment being set at the front, but the pace is starting to come off. And you'll see that on this climb. The riders have a hard push in. They may then back off. Look at City Bio. She's down to 2 watts per kilo now on the front as the gradient gets steeper. And you can see the bunch spreading across the road behind her. And that's because the pace is coming off the front and it's allowing the backed concertina back up. So we'll see this stretch and then a concertina to a bigger group, then a stretch and then a concertina to a bigger group. And that's the nature of this climb, particularly in this category at the moment. It's being demonstrated really well. Now, Bridget Bremner coming to the front of the group. She's a strong rider here. And for me, this course will suit her. But the nature of this climb, and we're about to come into a flatter section. If you look at the top right-hand corner, that red line, we're on a 3% gradient at the moment, is about to come down to fairly flat. And that's a point in this climb where you're going to see that group get bigger at the front again and that concertina action come into play.
So we're just seeing that easing. We're at 2.1% now to 2%, 1.9 just steadily dropping down at the moment. Two riders who could close this gap down. And when we go to Belgium, one of, it's almost a catchphrase that you have now, Emma, is you got to treat every top, every summit, every climb as the finish line.
You're doing Belgium.
You're doing Belgium for sure because of the nature of that, because they're super short. You still got to be in with the selection, really. For me, if you're not in, because of the way this goes very quickly into a long downhill where the group can go clear, it does start to fracture things apart. So 9 riders clear, 9 seconds back to the chasing group behind in category 6 up onto the climb. Our first riders away. Let's move on to our last two categories. First of all, category 2. We've got the core racing team, Kalman, who took her first victory in April, along with Kokolowitz and Giovanni for the core squad. Cycling district squad represented by Caramella Balanagi and Gorea. The purebred Daisies, well, 3 riders here, Bridget Kittle, Jenny Eck and Pia Kuma. Now racing Rockets team, 2 riders, Hayley Simmons and Maria Marb. Almost half of the race field, 32.5 of the race field in teams already, getting ready for next week. Category 2, of course, our penultimate category.
It is indeed, and welcome to Category 2, Brittany Litton. I believe she has tickets to the Lady Gaga concert, so she's going to be flying today on that euphoria of having secured those tickets. Pia Kuma took first place last week. In fact, the purebred Daisies, what a squad they've got lined up for the final next week. Pia Kuma took first place last week. Bridget Kittle took 4th and Jenny Eck took 5th. 3 members of the purebred Daisies squad. Tilly Field took 2nd place. And Sarah Roach took 3rd last week. Tilly Field, the new Australian national champion.
Indeed. I did give her my congratulations last week, and that's in the record books and will be there forever. Always good to see riders out and racing in those national championships in pretty much whatever discipline, whether it's XC, bike eliminator, or whether it is in esports, which of course is where we are today on the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club with category 2, our penultimate race category, out from the pens, just in with Joanna Carman at the moment, and Tilly Field. There we are, in with Tilly Field, the new Australian champion. Tilly Field, I thought a really, really great ride by her in the Australian Championships. You can go watch it back.
You can.
It's on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Make sure whilst you're there, subscribe if you haven't done it already. Get notified whenever MyWhoosh go live with content.
And then last week, following that national championship, she was in the mix at the finish line in category 2, 1.8 seconds separating the top 5 riders in category 2 last week. Field coming in second to Kuma. But what a race. And I think, this field today of category 2 women, have I just seen Samara Shepherd in the mix?
Yes.
Oh my goodness. Fangirl. But Samara Shepherd in the mix.
It's good to have you back, Em.
Yeah. But Samara Shepherd in the mix here in category 2 as well. I'm going to love to see what she does in esports, I tell you. It's going to be absolutely brilliant watching her on the Sunday Race Club. And boy, has she joined a strong, strong group of women in category 2, because for me, this bunch, this race today in Telmarib, this is going to be one of the most exciting races on the Sunday Race Club today. I'd happily I'm sorry, ladies. I'd happily just watch the entirety of the Category 2 race today.
It's always an absolutely brilliant race, and I mean, you've got established riders in Category 2. People like German Prado, people like Sylvia. In the like Serena Vittori, Stefania Sanchez, people who we've talked about for quite a while.
I could read every single name on that list, and any one of them could win this race today.
Yeah. What I'm loving is we get newer riders coming in, and you mentioned Samara Shepherd, an absolutely phenomenal rider. We've also got Brittany Litton, and Brittany Litton coming in, going up, and clearly strong on her birthday, going off the front at the moment, 5-second gap. Go on, keep on going. This is the way to go. Say hello, everybody. I'm here in category 2. I'm Brittany Litton, and I'm off the front.
Yep, I am ready to roll.
And people shouldn't be intimidated by going up a category, should they?
No, not at all. They've gone up a category because their performance means they are strong enough to. And if you're strong enough to go up, you're strong enough to mix it. And mixing it, Brittany Litton is. She's now out of sight, out of mind completely. Do not underestimate Brittany Litton category 2. They've got 8 seconds. They are 8 seconds back.
Do underestimate. I'd let it get like a minute and a half up the road, and then we can watch the man.
Look at the intention on her face.
Yep, definitely.
This is it. She's like, I know what I'm doing. I am going to take this race to you. Scruff of the neck stuff. Absolutely, Brittany Litton dialing it at the moment as she goes through the first sprint at 2.5 kilometres. Jennifer Gothlander, for me, is another rider to watch today. And she's going for that sprint as well. She's got such a strong sprint on her, and she's come up recently as well, like Litton has, and she's not been afraid of mixing it in category 2 either.
It'll be interesting to see if she takes that sprint when she just come diving through. We'll dive back in with those riders in a moment, because we're going to go over to category 1, which is our elite category, top of the tree. Teams, 4 teams with us. Avlok International with Korchinski, Hermansen and Holcroft. The Supernova squad with Van Hove, Tomasi and Bassoni. The Sweat Sensations, Guerra, Fua and Bruni. And the Breakaways, the only squad with 4 riders in it. Alberg, Galeos, Bjarhead and Larson. We also have a whole host of riders, and we could indeed also read out every single name, and they could well win today. We're in with the world champion. It is the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club. It is qualifier number 3, our final qualifier for April. Our riders are away, heading out of the start. The big pack in the yellow jerseys denoting category 1. Who will get the yellow skin suit as our race winner at the top? Will it be our world champion, the only rider to wear in our women's race field the world champion stripes across her back in the white jersey? It is Mary-Kate McCarthy, the world champion, taking that title in Abu Dhabi last October. I'm sure she will be in Abu Dhabi in the new venue, which looks absolutely amazing. Very close to the Yas Marina circuit, in fact. And that's going to be middle of November in 2025. And that's where she's going to be defending those stripes, I'm sure.
Well, can I just tell you, I think I need to have 2 weeks off of the Sunday Race Club more often. Because did I just hear Gabby Guerra has joined the Sweat Sensations?
Yes.
And Lizzie Brooke and Tennille Otto have joined category 1.
Yes, that indeed happened a little bit before. And I can tell you a little bit about Lizzie Brooke, because I happen to know one of her ex-DSs. But her results speak for themselves. One person whose results always speak for themselves, Catherine Fua, medalist, of course, at the World Championships. Absolute inspiration. And indeed, I'm sure, is she not a coach as well?
Yeah, but she's also a nutritionist.
She's
a nutritionist.
Yes.
And but can I just say, and the strength and conditioning stuff she does as well is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is indeed. But for me, Catherine Fua, absolutely the most consistent rider, I think, ever. You know, she really, really is so strong, and she is so consistent. And you think about the training pattern over the year and the fact that these riders have off seasons as well as peaking for certain races. You know, she is always in the mix. She's tenacious, she's committed, and part and parcel of a fabulous cycling family because her sister is world class as well.
And I don't know if I saw her sister on the launch for the UCI World Championships for 2027, I think it is, which is a Swiss based. It's all the World Championships in one place. It's 27
Oh, it's in the Hot Savoy,
disciplines
isn't
in the
it?
Hot Savoy, and it's going to be amazing because esports is going to be there with everybody. Really looking forward to that. Hopefully, be on the mic for hopefully a number of different disciplines that I'm lucky enough to cover. Will we see Gabby Guerra in action there? Well, we'll have to see Gabby Guerra in and racing as part of that Sweat Sensation squad. And I have to say, it makes that squad incredibly strong with Guerra, Fua, and Bruni. I mean, talk about firing a shot across everybody's bows for next week.
Well, and can I just also, I would really like to say, having not been here last week, Maria Holdcroft.
Yes.
Maria has been getting stronger and stronger and stronger. She has been on outstanding form, and we have seen her week in, week out ride stronger and stronger and be right at the front of the race, but never quite on that top step. Well, last week, Maria Holdcroft took the top step of the Sunday Race Cup for the very first time. I want to give her a standing ovation in the studio. That's how excited and pleased and just, oh, I'm so happy for her.
It's great, isn't it, when the hard work, the dedication, the commitment pays off. As you can see, just hidden behind the dark Sith Lord, there is Marlene Bjarhead, sorry. So Marlene just shadowed there as
May the force be with you.
Indeed, it's somewhat, it's almost like the Emperor peering over the shoulder of the new upcoming. We will soon see. Maria Holdcroft doesn't need any guidance. I'm sure she's absolutely phenomenal and great to see her. As you said, really pleased. It was lovely to call coming in and across the line for that race. We're now into the sprints and shooting off the front of the group is Lisa Haag at the moment. Now, Haag goes through underneath the banner, and down on our start list is the ultimate sprinter in the women's race, which is Bridget Walensky. But
she has just come through at the back. Do you see the little green at the back coming around past the lamppost?
She come in and through? So
she has.
Now, this was a relatively steady start. I expected to see Walensky in with the group and going for it through as part of the group. She didn't do that this time. She went solo and has taken another sprint win. There is a record. I mean, it has been a week where we have seen records broken. Last week in Paris-Roubaix, absolutely amazing. Please do watch it. But Bridget Walensky must be heading for a record of sprint wins. She takes away the sprint time in category 1, not the fastest sprint time of the day. Jennifer Goslander took that in category 2.
Can I just tell you, Goslander's average watts per kilo through that sprint, 13.7 watts per kilo. Absolutely phenomenal for that sprint time. But Goslander taking category 2, Walensky taking category 1. We saw Ailsa Haag on that sprint. She actually has 2nd overall in category 1, 9th overall in terms of the fastest sprint across all the categories. There have been some absolutely phenomenal sprinting efforts coming out across all 6 race fields through that first sprint. Jessica Hamilton, who went through and picked up the sprint green skin suit in category 6, 11th position overall. So all of the sprinters coming through in that top 11 to take the respective wins in their categories.
Some incredible sprinting, incredible riders across all 6 race categories. Don't forget that with 6 race categories, there are 6 simultaneous races, 6 prize funds up for grabs. So we move from one sprint segment to the next. Jennifer Gottlander going through the sprint segment in the green skin suit as the leader on the points competition. And you can see at the moment that she's retained that points competition going through sprint number 2. So the points are 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 for first, second, third, fourth, and fifth places, respectively. Jennifer Gottlander on our screens on the main screen in avatar form, on the left-hand side of your screen in person, and Jennifer putting in another great sprint performance there, maximizing her points. So 10 points now in the bag out of a possible 15 maximum point score at the end of the day. Our last sprint, the Telmarie sprint, though, is the other side of both of our categorized climbs. Now, riders do get prizes for the segment, fastest through the segment in their category. And of course, there's the overall prize fund as well.
Yeah, and let's just, any new viewers, so if you set the fastest sprint time in your category, you get awarded 5 points. If you get second, 4, 3, 2, 1, and then it's all added together for the overall. It's exciting.
It is so many things to watch simultaneously. We try to cover and give you all of the information. But don't forget, if you go on to MyWhoosh.com, on to race results, you will see live who has picked up the most points where. You can see we've got our polka dot jersey wearers there on your screen. Amy Sudabeo, and I suspect that is going to be Seba Alrai.
It is indeed, and this is the Leeward Desert climb. So they've gone through the aquarium climb. So Bio's taken the polka dot skin suit on that in category 6. We had 9 riders coming towards the top of the aquarium climb together in this category, and you can see the Leeward Desert climb has absolutely ripped the legs off them. Amy Sudi Bio is showing that climbing prowess here. She's got 2 riders in the background, Jill Sargentson at 7 seconds, Bridget Bremner at 10. There's then a further 17-second gap back to Brooke Samuel. Fanucci Korn Sarasuk is in there as well. She's a strong climber, but these are not the types of climb that often suit her. She really likes those long kilometre-long climbs, not the short, sharp ones. Now, this is category 5, and category 5 now coming into that same climb, the Leeward Desert climb. We've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 riders. Likewise, we had with category 6 coming in. We've got Vink just getting distanced off the back, but Sonnerson, Mongeli, Ferren, Idzik, Alray, Wilhelm, all in that leading group. We drop in with Alray here now. She's right in the mix in the group. She's wearing the polka dot skin suit. Natalia Idzik is in the green skin suit, the sprint skin suit. And this climb now, well, they're at 6% as they continue to move, but we're not seeing a single rider ride away from the rest of the pack at the moment. We do indeed have 7 riders strongly here competing for this climb.
So up onto the Leeward Desert climb, a climb that I personally detest, I have to say. I absolutely. I go
What's
out.
that climb done to you?
It really has made my legs hurt on a number of occasions. I think that's the justification for disliking it. Clearly, Jill Sargentson finds it far more beneficial to be on this climb. She's caught back the gap to Amy Sudibao and got onto the wheels. Sudibao responds with a little bit of a kick here at 5 watts per kilo. I would be taking Jill Sargentson with me. I would be going through the banner, which is what she's done here, but then trying to go clear with Sargentson. Because once you get up to the top of this, you've got a long way. I mean, we are at, 21.5 kilometres. We've got to go to 35k. So by my reckoning, that's enough that you need at least 2, if not 3 people with you minimum. But Sudibao and Sargentson are separated once again.
Yeah, and I would agree with you, because if you take a look on the left-hand side of your screen, Category 5 are 1.2 kilometres behind Category 6. And there's a long flat run now until they get to that final 800 metres of the race. And depending upon what happens in the Category 5 race, if this pack stay together and they roll fast, they'll start sweeping up the Category 6 riders who have been dropped from the leaders. And with that group swelling in size, those Category 6 riders could take the draft from them.
and then come back to the leaders. So whatever Sudabayo and Sargentson do, it could be immaterial. That gap is 39 seconds to the main chasing group,
so
with riders in between.
Tactically, you are quite correct. Sudabayo and Sargentson now need to get together and work together to hold that gap.
It's either commit or back off. Commit or rest. You've got to do one or the other. You've got to commit and go for it, or you've got to rest and know that you've got the longest rest of anybody before that group comes up to you.
But if you've got two of you, you're sort of in a halfway house, because you commit on the front, you take a little rest on the back. You commit on the front, you take a little rest on the back. But the two have got to work together in almost a 2-up time trial to get to that finish ahead of everybody else.
Let's see what they do. We'll be back with Category 6 very shortly, no doubt. We're in with Category 3, in with Kim Vanilla, another rider who's been riding stronger and stronger. Another rider who we know could well be in the mix when we come to the top of the climb. Somebody who's been riding really well outdoors as well as indoors. Here we are on the descent, coming away from the Aquarium climb, heading towards the Leeward Desert climb. So between climbs 1 and 2, you can see that Carolina Leinonen is the rider who's got the climb competition and taken the win to the top of the summit. But this is a good-sized group.
12, 13 riders in this group at the moment in Category 2. They've gone up and over the Aquarium climb. They are all still together. We did say that this was the largest race field, and there were a lot of very well-matched riders in here, but Montgomery, Hakkinen, Bonilla, Altamirano, Bergin, Davidson, Nielsen, Essler are all in that group. Really, really strong. They are going to come into the base of the Leeward Desert climb. I think we might see 1 or 2 riders drop from that group. They're going to really have to dig deep for that 1.9 kilometre climb to stay in that leading group. Once they're up and over that, it's all the way to that final 800 metres.
So Category 4 on the way in to the Leeward Desert climb. This is a really pivotal place. We've
12
seen
riders
it
there
can be
as
decided.
well.
It's really interesting, isn't it? The way that this is it's selected sort of 50% of each race field on the Aquarium climb of categories 5, 6, 4. Those we've seen so far, and Category 3 basically, I think it's heading the same way. So they're heading down towards that sort of half a group that's in contention. Now, that is a little bit split in Category 6, as we saw, with the 2 riders off the front. But basically, about half of each of the race category left in contention at that point. The top of the Aquarium climb coming at 15.4k into the climb. Descend down, hit the Leeward Desert climb at 19.6k. And this Leeward Desert climb, again, there are points and segment prizes at stake in each of the race categories. If you want to know what those prizes are, there is a breakdown on the MyWhoosh.com page. Go to events, then don't go to the individual MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club page. Go to the general one, which is a little bit further down the page. Click on that, and it's got a full description of what Sunday Race Club is. The prize breakdown across categories 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And of course, it tells you how to enter, and there's a technical guide that you can download. You name it. Make sure you do that if you're going to jump on board. We would love to see you kicking off, if you haven't raced so far, your race season next Qualifier 1, which will be at the start of May. One rider who's very experienced, Gina Van Rossum. Good to see Gina coming back into form, and with the Climbers polka dot skin suit in avatar form, just not in person on the left of your screens, because clearly a polka dot skin suit would not really work today, clearly where Gina Van Rossum is, because it's looking pretty warm there.
Yeah, and I have to say, Gina looking really comfortable there. And I love to see that. It's great to see her back. Yeah. I raced on the same team as Gina for the Tour de Monde back in January.
You?
I did indeed.
Oh, excellent.
And it was fabulous. I'll tell you something. She's a great teammate to have in your ears whilst you're racing. But also, she is so strong. And it's, as you say, she took some time away from the Sunday Race Club post-January. She's now back. She's getting stronger again. And she's really getting into the mix. And she's not one to discount today. You know, there's a negative if you
double negative on the way through. Yeah, she's
shall I rephrase that? She's one to watch today.
I would quite agree with that, because we know she's got a phenomenal sprint, and she can climb. Now, one other rider that you cannot discount here is the rider who's actually got the sprint skin suit in the mix in category 4. And not who I would have said was going to be in the battle for the win here, and that is Gina Di Grazia. But I think Gina Di Grazia may have been distanced from this lead group, which is going to leave the door open a little because Di Grazia has been on some storming form. We'll see what happens as this plays out. Now, Gina Van Rossum up against Randy Gino. This has been a sprint battle between these two traditionally recently. Gina Van Rossum and Randy Gino. Gino has been taking all of the sprints, but you can see at the moment, it is indeed true, category 4, it is Di Grazia who has taken the sprint jersey. We have Van Rossum and Al Rai on your screen. So category
Both
4.
in the polka dots.
Yep, climber on the left, climber on the right. Both in person as well. Different in-person places, but they're both riding on the Arabian course of Tel Marib here on MyWhoosh on the Sunday Race Club. And I love the insight that we get here. You can tell the pace has just picked up in category 4 on the left. It's Gina Van Rossum out of the saddle here, responding to the move by Hannah Goodall. And I love the fact we can see the rider and what they're doing in person as well.
Yeah, and interestingly, the pack's moving at a very similar pace, though category 4 are still on the climb. That is some pace from Hannah Goodall and Van Rossum. Hyde Gino in that category 4 group. And Van Rossum, you can see up and out the saddle, pushing on at the moment because she's chasing Hannah Goodall. Hannah Goodall going underneath the polka dot banner, signifying the end of that Liwa Desert climb. Van Rossum pushed on as well. She holds the points from Goodall. Let's take a look. Hannah Goodall gets the segment. Gina Van Rossum comes through in 2, but Van Rossum's overall points in the climbing competition are enough to hold the polka dot skin suit. Now, the question is it enough to hold Hannah Goodall? Because Hannah Goodall is continuing on her journey here. This could well be Goodall's move for the win. Now, has Hannah Goodall decided, I'm going to go for the push at the end of the Liwa Desert climb, and I am not going to back off. I'm going to try and get a gap on the group. Claudia Hyde now coming to the front of the pack behind. Van Rossum sits into the group, but the question is now, can Goodall ride away on the descent?
Tough job to do, but you never know. Goodall could well be able to do that. Now, we've been watching our other race category. Just going to jump back in with our category 1 riders. Engstrom, Bruni, Holcroft, Brooke in here. We've got McCarthy tucked in as well. Tomasi is here, Bjarhead here. So all of our key protagonists by the look of it in this group. It doesn't look by the radar view, top right-hand side of your screen, sort of like they've dropped anybody at the moment. We take this right-hand turn. These riders heading for the banner. They're going to be heading underneath that polka dot banner, which signifies the start of our first climb, which is the aquarium climb. 3.2 kilometers of 2.5% average gradient. It's steeper than that in places, though. Category 1 on the way into the climb. Category 2 on the left of your screen. They're coming up towards the summit. And this group has really not broken apart. Will it be 50% of the race field? I don't know.
I'm having a secret giggle here on this side of the studio because I'm looking at category 2 thinking they're going to come round the bend in a minute and they're going to see the polka dot banner, and that's going to be the top of the aquarium climb. Oh, yes, look, we've lost one rider.
It's minimal. Well, we maybe have lost a few before we've come back, but it's going to be interesting to see as they go over the top here how many people are in
I think there's about 24
group.
riders in that group.
I'm wondering how you know there's 24 riders.
Because I've done a little count.
You did that was a very quick
count.
But
the question is can the back of the group close back down, or are we going to see that gap at the back now causing problems as Sarah Roach pushes to get the fastest time in the polka dot skin suit? Katerina Karamani goes as well. So does Serena Vittori, but it looks like it's Sophie Giovanni who's being given the polka dot skin suit there. And the category 2 pack rolling through. I'm going to take a look. Oh, 21 riders in the main group. Brittany Litton just off the back. She's going to need to squeeze on Maria Marb. Catherine Colne in there as well. 24 riders in total. The 3 riders who are in trouble or were in trouble when we saw them: Litton, Marb and Colne.
So as Emma does her disgustingly accurate counting on a screen to get 24 riders in the mix, we are in with one of them, Sophie Giovanni here, who is at the moment keeping those pedals spinning. I'd say Sophie Giovanni is one of our riders who we regularly get to see in action in person with regularly different camera angles as well. I'm very impressed. As somebody who works in broadcasting, I have to say I'm very impressed that Sophie Giovanni always manages to have lots of different camera angles week in, week out. Keeps it entertaining for us and keeps it interesting to see different bits of the pain cave.
Do you know what else I think? You can see, and Giovanni's not the only rider you can see there, but the nutrition on the side.
Yes.
You know, these riders are not riding unfueled. They are hydrating and they are fueling during the racing. You've got to put energy in to get energy out. Simple.
You have. I'm going to just do a little bit of a jump back, little rewind here, to Sarah Roach sprinting over the top of the climb.
Yeah.
Now, Sarah Roach, because Sarah has moved up from category 3 to 2. She took her first win on the Sunday Race Club. Her first Sunday Race Club was back in 2024, but she did 2 in 2024. But then, as of March, jumped in on a regular basis, and in fact, her first win was qualifier race number 1 in April on the Sunday Race Club in category 3. She's in category 2. We talked earlier about people not being intimidated by moving up into the upper categories. Sarah Roach, perfect example of that, sprinting there, taking on the climbers on the climb.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just going to have a moment of I'm just reveling in everybody's success. It's great. I love it when riders go well and they improve. That's what it's about for me.
I can tell you who else goes well and who else has been improving, and it's been really interesting. Is Veronika Siskilka, who's on the screen at the moment, and you can see the concentration on her face. She's in the midst of that category 4 pack. She's with Claudia Hyde. Oh, she's on the message. I always think that's really interesting because I couldn't do that whilst racing. I'm quite happy to put some headphones on and chat to my teammates, but I definitely couldn't message them. So Cici Oltka is on there with Alza and Herrero, Holweiler, Pekka Kova. They are all in the mix here in that category 4 group. Fabulous to see. It's just brilliant, isn't it? Kołzuska is in there as well. Well, actually, that could be who she was messaging because they are both on that Power of Red squad and they are both really strong, powerful riders.
Both riders from Poland.
They are.
And Poland has got a very strong esports community.
It does.
I'm not sure whether it's on a par with the Swedish squad, but it's got to be close, I think. And it'd be really interesting to see if the Polish teams can get their tactics sorted when they come to the World Championships, because I think they could be a real force to be reckoned with, and the tactics play out there. Now, just starting to see a fracture in this group. This group's just starting to break up. This is the leading group in category 1. On your screens at the moment, we're in Francesca Tomasi, just being distanced one of our riders. We know that Walensky wasn't riding in this group, and she was off the back already. We're seeing that continue onwards here as category 1 start to catch category 2 riders. You can see that green jersey just working backwards through the group. Category 1, avatars out of the saddle. Tomasi in here on your screen, second from the left here. So we've got Bassoni and Tomasi, Guerra and Fua. Now 4 riders, 3 of the riders in person out of the saddles, tapping out a rhythm. Bassoni still sat, keeping the revs nice and high, super focused on that screen. And this is where you've got to be in it to be in contention over the top. You can't be distance. You lose time now. I mean, we're only, meters off the summit, and yet you could lose this race if you're not on the wheels going over the top.
Well, 2 riders off the back of the category 1 pack, but Guerra now with McCarthy, Bruni, Tomasi, Holdcroft are all in the mix. Van Hooling is there as well. This pack are dancing on those pedals up the climb at the moment. Now we've got the push from Guerra and Bruni. They both want the polka dot skin suit. Guerra, look at the cadence up and out of that saddle. Tomasi, focus on her face. But Guerra comes through. Who's going to pick it up? It is indeed Gabby Guerra. Picks up that polka dot skin suit, that push at the end, just enabling her to take a faster time. And you can see the group at the back now having to push because they want to come back into the mix. Category 1, I think, have lost about 3 riders from that group. Guerra setting the time of 5 minutes 54 up the climb. You can see the times from the rest. Giovanni, Lennon and Van Rossum, Al Ray and Sudi Bio setting the fastest times in their respective categories. I can tell you there are still 18 riders in that leading group in the Category 1 race. They're up and over the longest climb of the day. They are down the other side, or at least that is where they are heading. Oh, split in the group. Quick. Come on.
Yep. Big split, big gaps, and
Four
really
riders.
interested to watch. I think that because now I'm just going to do a double check on the times on that climb, but taking a look on the aquarium climb up there, that really for me has I think it was just steadier pace lower down and then explosive at the end, and I think it's that explosive end that has caused this problem. Larson at the moment with Brooke and Bassoni distance and Cornelia Engstrom to Neil Otto off the back of the group.
Well,
That's
I
a real
tell you,
surprise.
this group now, Nellie Larson came to the front to put a big push on. She knows that if they do not close that gap down now, it has gone because they're going to go into the Leeward Desert climb. They really need to push. But the problem is they want the recovery as well. This is a really difficult thing. Bassoni now coming to the front. She also knows that she's got to push. You've got to close that gap down. It's at 3 seconds. This is really dangerous territory at the moment.
I was just taking a little look at the time over the top there of that climb. And when you look at the time going over the top of the climb in Category 1, 5:44, I think it was, for the fastest time. McCarthy's fastest time this year is a 5:30, 5:29. So 5:29, 5:30. And I think for me that shows that it's just that bit slower. I just want some numbers to confirm that. Slower over the climb, but with an explosive tail end to the climb. And that's where it is split. Whereas most of the group of riders in Category 1, a 5:44 is about right. And in fact, some of the riders setting their fastest time of the year on the climb this race.
Well, and you take a look at Category 2 as well. They're on the left-hand side of your screen. They are coming towards the top of the Leeward Desert climb. Look at the size of that group. We had 24 riders going to the bottom of the climb together. And it has been, the steepest section is already done. They are now coming onto the top section. It's like a little sugar loaf on the top, or a cottage loaf, if you've ever made a loaf of bread with a little extra little loaf on the top. Big base, small top. Big base, small top, Leeward Desert climb.
Okay.
You've never had a cottage loaf? I'm going to have to put a photo somewhere, aren't I?
You are going to have to do that. Please do give
like.
Emma a follow. It's at biking_Emma for your cottage loaf pictures, which will be coming up later today at some point. One rider who is not going to be thinking about cottage loaves, but thinking about the summit of this climb is Joanna Kalman, one of our riders who keeps on improving, taking away a victory on the Sunday Race Club already. And I tell you something, a rider who you can just see here has got that pacing right, takes a big breath in there as the pace just eases off. They sucks up some more oxygen. She can see she's reading the race, watching that positioning, watching where she is. Now, Jenny Eck has the current leaders jersey, and that is the final leaders jersey in the Queen of the Mountains competition.
Well, I can tell you, we went from 24 riders at the aquarium climb to 19 riders at the top of the Leeward Desert climb. In Category 2, Eck Giovanni, Roach Field, Vittori Shepherd, Vanshaw Caramello, Tridin Caramani, Kalman Kittle, Prado Guerrea, Sanchez Banerjee, Embring, Jaramillo, and Gothlander are the riders still in that leading Category 2 group.
It's a big group. It's a big group. Now, Emma's just spotted a very interesting thing that we can see. The left-hand side of your screen. Go on, Emma.
Well, I can tell you, Amy Sudubayo, last time we were in this group, was away from Jill Sargentson. Sargentson was closing down the gap. Bremner was at about 7 seconds back. She has caught the group. So we now have Bremner, Sargentson, and Suribio, 3 riders at the front of the Category 6 race on the left-hand side of your screen. The gap back to the chase group, 51 seconds. Samuel Sarasuk and Jaskalainen are the riders in that chase group of 3. But these 3 riders working together very, very strongly. And they have stayed clear of the leading group, which is on the right-hand side of your screen in Category 5 at 800 metres, the gap at the moment.
And I make it about 1 minute 40 plus for the time between our leaders on the road on the left-hand side and the leaders in Category 5 on the right-hand side, with the riders distanced in between. About 30 seconds to Johnson and about 1 minute whatever to the rest. Now, that's a bit. It's a big group of chase riders coming. It's got Category 5 riders in there.
That Category 5 leading group looking like there's 7 riders in there at the moment. Elevink, last time we were in there, was having problems staying on the back, but she's now tightly ensconced within. So Vink, Sonnerson, Marshall, Alray, Wilhelm are all in this group. So that's the leading Category 5 group. Now working their way up through the pack. They are now lying just outside the top 10 on the road.
So they can pick up chasers on the way through. They can close down and in. And for me, this is where our leading 3 riders in Category 6 need to commit to stay clear of the chasers in Category 6 who can get picked up and are being picked up. Angie Solazano is in with this group of chasing riders, in with this Category 5 riders. And because of the park or the terrain, it is essentially flat now in the run into the climb. There is nothing that's likely to break them. They're going to drop down and then go on to the climb, the final climb of the day. It's not categorized. It's not for climb points. So the riders, once they have completed the Leeward Desert climb, whoever's in that polka dot skin suit should be the rider who's going to take away the win in the competition. Top right-hand side of your screen, you can just see the sprint there from Hanna Pekakova. We said that she rode smoothly through the first sprint. She's actually now holding the sprint skin suit. She's alongside Jessica Hamilton. So 2 sprinters. You've got Pekakova in Category 4. You've got Hamilton in Category 6. Both at the same point, top right-hand side of your screen, and both in those green skin suits, because each winner or each leader of the sprints competition will keep those. And at 30.3k, that's the final sprint done for Pekakova, who should be confirmed as our sprint winner in Category 4, and for Hamilton in Category 6.
Well, yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Fab.
It is. People getting prizes.
I know.
It's for Sunday Race Club.
Yay!
If you don't know the prize fund, if you do not know quite how stupendously, monumentally humongous the prize fund is, do jump on board.
Shall I give you a little? Let me give you a little introduction. So, if you take first place in Category 1 today, you would take home 8,000 AED or $2,178 US. In Category 6, first place, 622 AED or $169 US.
And that's what our riders on the left-hand side of your screen are starting to sprint for. Their race finish comes at 34.7k here today. That means that we have got about 500 meters or so for the riders on your screen. So on the way through towards that finish now, Amy Suribio is the rider on the front here. She's got the polka dot climb jersey. This is that steep 800-meter long ramp that takes us into the finish. It's 10% average. At the moment, we're on 12.7. You can see it rising out this dune, and it is a big old dune climb here. This is one of those tough climbs that we used to do as part of the old course. It isn't named or categorized as such, but it is the run to the finish. Suribio striking out early. Sargentson is responding. Remember, Sargentson caught back Suribio once. Bremner has caught both of them back once already. Can they get back to Amy Suribio? It's going to be a big ask, but there is still a good distance to the finish, and this is a big, big effort behind. You can see Seba Alray on the right-hand side of your screen starting to try and kick clear of Emma Sonnerson in the Category 5 race. They're also onto this same climb.
They are indeed. So Category 6 and Category 5 are all on the final climb. Category 6, Amy Sudabayo has 250 metres to go. Category 5, on the right-hand side of your screen, Sonnerson, Ferron, Al Ray, Wilhelm are all in the mix here. They have 400 metres to go. The leaders in Category 6 are just up the road, literally 200 metres round the bend. And Amy Sudabayo doing a brilliant job here of riding clear of the group behind. She's now got a 12-second gap on Sargentson, a 16-second gap on Bremner. You can see a little bit further back down the road, the Category 5 leaders are battling it out, and Emma Sonnerson now going clear of Sandra Ferron.
So that gap in Category 5 still coming down. Brooke, Samuel and Vanucci and Sarah Sue having their own battle for 4th and 5th place in Category 6. So the first 5 riders on our series pretty much at the moment are our Category 6 riders. They're just clear of Category 5. It's soon going to be the case, I think, where it's only the top 3 riders in Category 6 who are staying clear. They're on your screens, and you can see behind those diminutive figures with the blue jerseys that are coming underneath that blue lit arch in the background. They're the Category 5 riders. They are chasing their way up this climb. The distance is foreshortened not just by the camera angle, but by the distance. But at the moment, Amy Sudabayo is coming in towards that finish with 100 metres to go.
Well, she's got 100 metres to go. She's got 12 seconds on Sargentson. What has Sargentson got? Has she got a final sprint? I am not sure the Canadian rider has the legs for that. Bridget Bremner a little bit further back down the climb at the moment. The climb seeming endless at the moment for Sudabayo, who will want to get underneath that banner. She's wearing the polka dot skin suit. She's been the best climber in Category 6 today. She's going to add the yellow skin suit as well to that polka dot, because that is the UCI banner, and Amy Sudabayo is going to go underneath it first. She's going to be the first rider today in Category 6. She takes the win. Amy Sudabayo takes the win on the Sunday Race Club Qualifier 3.
So as those fireworks go off as she goes in over the line, the battle is unfolding behind Sargentson from Bremner in a 2nd and 3rd place. They are coming up to the line in that order in Category 6. Category 5, though, they're approaching the line.
They are indeed, and Sonnerson and Ferron have battled all the way up the climb. Emma Sonnerson is in the lead at the moment. Sandra Ferron just at 1 second, but Sonnerson finds a dig. She digs deep. Ferron can't respond. Ferron's trying to respond, but it's too late because Emma Sonnerson is underneath the banner. She takes the win. Sandra Ferron in 2nd. I think that is going to be Maria Wilhelm for 3rd. Gabrielle Marshall for 4th. And Pamela Mongeli will round out the top 5.
So that's your Category 6 winner, Category 5 winner crowned, and the podium positions confirmed in those respective categories. So we'll take a quick run through for you of our top riders individually in Category 5. Sonnerson coming in over the line, taking away the win from Amy Sudabayo's win in Category 6. Fantastic racing in Categories 5 and 6. More riders coming up to the line. Seba Al Rai, good ride by her. I think she just pipped on the line of the riders, and Seba Al Rai taking away that.
Really gave her a run for the line there.
She did, but I think Seba Al Rai will take away the polka dot skin suit of the climb winner, which is a fantastic result.
Take a look at this. This is Category 4. 14 riders we had in Category 4 over the top of the Liwa Desert climb, and that is what we've got. 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yep, 14 riders coming into the last 800 metres to go. The wall is ahead of them. The finish banner is at the top, and we've got Ciciolka, Hyde, Pekakova, Gino, Roa, Kawazuska is in there, Holweiler's in there, Gino is in there. This is going to be one amazing climb. Unleash the power, ladies.
Here we go. This is a finish up at the top of the climb. They have seen, if they've been watching the live feed, and lots of our riders do watch that to give them extra information. Not that you don't get enough information already, but if you want that extra advantage, knowing what's happening, what the finish is, using that almost look ahead, well, this is the way to do it. Melissa Simkin knows how far this is. She's gone early. She knows that you can't save anything here. You've got to get the timing right. Gino goes with her. Pekka Kova, the sprinter winner, is right up at the front here, but the polka dot jersey is coming as well. So this is going to be all about being on the front at the moment you cross the line, because that is key here today. It sounds obvious, but get this timing wrong, you won't just lose seconds, you're going to lose a calendar month or two.
Well, I'll tell you something, this is going to be close because Category 3 have just piled into the base of the climb as well. Davidson, Daniel, Altamirano, Montgomery, Cassani, all in the mix at the front of that blue train, coming behind the red train. This is going to be interesting. The power of Category 3. Will they catch the Category 4 leaders? Will the Category 4 leaders get over the line first? It is all happening here on the Sunday Race Club. The final 400 meters, Category 3, Category 4.
So the run for the line is on the right-hand side of your screen. We'd seen that push from Pekka Kova start to pull clear. 3 riders. She's dropped back now as we see a different 3 riders leading. Koweska along with Sinkin and Gino. Then it's good old Pekka Kova and hide Pekka Kova on your screen. You can see the effort coming in here. You got to see that banner, the UCI banner. MyWhoosh UCI partner for 2024, 25 and 26. It's there. It's tantalizing. The lead has opened. Will it be enough?
Kawazuska goes, but Gino is coming. We know Gino has got a phenomenal sprint on her. She's got a great kick. She's taken the sprint competition numerous times on the Sunday Race Club in Category 4. But Isabella Kawazuska is trying to ride away from the group, and she's doing a great job here. She's got 4 seconds on Gino at the moment, 6 seconds on Goodall, Simkin, Hyde, Pekka Kova. We said Pekka Kova was going to be keeping her powder dry for the finale, but she's got the green skin suit as well. But it is Isabella Kawazuska who's coming through for number 1 in Category 4. What a ride! Her first win on the Sunday Race Club, done in style. Gina and Pekka Kova fighting it out. Hannah Pekka Kova, I think, comes through on the line. 4 seconds. I am just going to check that. She does indeed. So Kawazuska in the end takes it by 0.08 of a second as Dana Davison and Jenny Daniel come piling in towards the finish. This battle in Category 3. Davidson versus Daniel. They're neck and neck, side by side. Davidson from Daniel. I call that. Hannah Hakkinen is the rider in 3rd place. How close can this be? Davidson 0.03 of a second back. Hakkinen in 3rd. Altamirano in 4th. Lennonen in 5th.
So Jenny Daniel just pipping Dana Davison by 0.03 of a second on the line in Category 3 from Hannah Hakkinen. Angelica Altamirano ahead of Carolina Leinen and Kimber Niller. So Cassani, Katrin Nielsen, Eva Essler, Camilla Moroz rounding out the top 10. Heather Shanks, we saw earlier on just inside the top 15 with Bergin and Kosa. Really interesting racing there.
Yeah, Category 4, just to confirm, Kawazuska did indeed take the win from Pekka Kova. Randy Gino took 3rd place. Ciciolska took 4th. Goodall took 5th. Hyde and Simkin continued on the charge behind.
So don't forget, you can catch up with all of our riders on the Sunday Race Club in action. Now, we're just taking a look on our screens, the left-hand side of our screens, because whilst we've been watching these sort of frantic finishes, we've got Maria Holcroft.
I've done it once. Clear. I can do it again.
Lucky enough to commentate on a number of UCI disciplines, and my co-commentator Rich Eames on the BMX has a wonderful phrase.
What does he say? He
says, taken the top off the confidence bottle and now it's all pouring out.
Well, it is for Maria Holdcroft at the moment. She's got a 15-second gap on the rest of the Category 1 pack. I'm going to say that again. Maria Holdcroft has a 15-second gap on the rest of the pack. 13 riders came over the top of the Leeward Desert Climb together in Category 1. It was a huge pack of riders. Guerra, Van Hooling, Fua, Kulczynski, McCarthy, Bruni, they are all still in that pack. They are 17 seconds away from Maria Holdcroft, who is time trialing her way to the finish of this race. Maria Holdcroft goes underneath the start of the final sprint at the 29.8 kilometre marker. Let's just remind ourselves this race is 34.7 kilometres in length, and Holdcroft's gap at the moment just keeps growing.
Now, Francesca Tomasi goes underneath that start banner, kicking away in and away. Is she going to be able to use this to instigate some kind of chase here? Can she break away? Nearest rider to her, Liz Van Heuling, then followed by Kuczynski and Guerra as they go underneath the banner for the finish. Tomasi goes through. It's going to be a good time by her coming in and through. She's going to be reliant on Valensky, though, I think, not finishing to take the sprint prize there. And that would be unusual. Valensky usually making sure that she gets to that finish to claim the sprint segment prizes, but a good leg stretch, and it has allowed Tomasi a little bit of a gap. 3 seconds to Van Heuling, Fua, Guerra, Bruni, and Co. That chasing group trying to keep the gap down, but as Emma's just said, we are a substantial distance to the finish, currently having covered 88% of the race route. And it's not because my maths is good, it's on the bottom of your screens. Believe me, my maths is not that good.
My maths is not that good.
My maths is absolutely appalling, let's face it. Okay, let's go across because I can go from 1 to 2. That's 1 digit at a time. 1 plus 1 is 2, or it was when I went to school, which is a long time ago. In with Jennifer Goslander, the rider who is leading the sprint competition in Category 2 and will be taking away the prize as our sprint winner overall, as well as taking some of those fastest through the segment times on the way in to add to that prize haul. Don't forget, of course, that the biggest prize of all individually comes when you take away the overall win in the race, and that is going to be absolutely key for these riders here today. Not only does it get them the prize, it sets them up for our finals where the team competition comes into play. Now, all of our riders, we're going to say this, we're going to put this out there now. Please, 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 please get in those teams as soon as you can. As soon as you get in there, the sooner you do, the more time we have to do our homework before we go into the final races themselves. So make sure that you're in those teams as early as you can. Helps us, helps the admin teams, and it helps you as riders to get sorted with your teammates.
Well, Calman, Goslander, and listen, you can see the looks of concentration, and the concentration is because this large group of 19 Category 2 riders are about to come into the final 800 metres of this race. They've got a small run down now before they hit that final climb. They're setting themselves up, and you can see getting those final checks in place, getting themselves ready. Van Shaw, Lytton, Kalman, Field, Karamani, Yaramillo, Roach are all in here. Last time out in Category 2 when they were on this course, it was Kolkowitz from Denton, from Giovanni, from Engstrom, and from London. Anna Embring is in this mix. Brittany Lytton, whoa, she's got strong legs today. First time up to Category 2, and she's there for the final kilometre charge.
And Gothelander has only got one win before. And of course, we've got Kalman, who's taken a first win this month on the Sunday race. So full of really, really fast riders. Now, dropping back in with Category 1, the fastest riders on our race route overall. They're also the riders, of course, that we know should climb the fastest onto the climb. As Lytton puts in an attack coming into the climb. She's gone early here. She's done what she did earlier on. She's attacked on that downhill. She's gone early. She's going to take a slight lead into this climb, but my goodness, that pack is coming behind. They close it down, and it's the Australian champion Matilda Field who leads them up, being followed here by Roach, Van Shaw, Lytton moves through into the top 5 here. Gothilander's moving up into position as well here. This will be a big move by her to take this away today. Kalman's giving it everything, top left-hand side of your screen, but at the moment it's Tilly Field who's leading out the charge on the climb.
Well, Tilly Field took that Australian Championships on the Wollongong climb, and that kicks to 17%. We're just shy of 13% at the moment as we click on to 13. Field and Van Shaw. Oh, it's the Australian versus the South African at the moment as Kelsey Jade Van Shaw comes up onto her shoulder. She goes up and over the top of Tilly Field. What can Field do now? Sarah Roach is coming, the rider from the USA, and Jermaine Prado is there as well. Prado always strong. They're coming towards the final 400 metres, 300 metres now as Van Shaw goes clear. She's just got 3 seconds, but the charge is coming from behind.
Tilly Field has not yet taken a win on the Sunday Race Club. This would be a debut win, but she has work to do to close down Van Shaw. German Preda's taking wins aplenty, and she's using that experience and that skill to her advantage. Sophie Giovanni, another experienced rider here. The French woman moves over the top, moves into second place, and they're closing down the gap to Kelsey Jade Van Shaw. The race leader in Category 2 at the moment is being chased. This will come down to timing. We've seen 0.03 of a second come through. Who's going to take this?
Giovanni pushes on. She's pushing on big style. She's closing the gap. She's coming up side by side to Van Shaw. Van Shaw is there, but Van Shaw is still at the lead at the moment as we're in with Jermaine Prado. Look at the effort that woman is putting through the pedals in her pain cave. Chasing hard here. She's in the top 3 position in Category 2, but Van Shaw has decided today is the day. Kelsey Jade Van Shaw goes underneath the UCI banner, first in Category 2. Sophie Giovanni, I think, is going to take second place. Jermaine Prado, third. Tilly Field will come through for fourth. And the battle between Victoria and Caramello for fifth place today.
Third win on the Sunday Race Club in Category 2 for Kelsey Jade Van Shaw. Phenomenal ride by her to take victory. One rider who surely now is going to solo in style to race victory with a 45-second lead. Say that again, 45-second lead. It is Maria Holcroft, who is in the race lead in Category 1 on our final qualifier for April. But behind, it's starting to explode.
Well, I tell you what it is, because the world champion just kicked just shy of 11 watts per kilo going into the base of the climb. She wants to climb and climb strongly and climb away from the group, because 13 Category 1 riders were chasing Maria Holdcroft. Holdcroft has given herself some sliding room, but has she got enough? She's climbing strongly, and she's continuing that strong pace up the climb. She's at 19 seconds from the rider on the right-hand side of your screen, and that is the world champion, Kate McCarthy, who is also climbing strongly. She's climbing fast at the moment. Guerra and Fua are chasing behind. So Holdcroft in one, clear of the field, 15 seconds clear at the moment with 200 meters to go. Surely this is Maria Holdcroft's second Sunday Race Club win. 2 weeks in a row. If you're going to stamp your mark on the Sunday Race Club, stamp it hard, Maria Holdcroft, because this is class racing. The world champion is snapping at her heels and continuing to ride fast. Is there enough road left for her to catch Holdcroft? I don't think there is. Maria Holdcroft is going to hold this. She's going to hold this to the line. McCarthy is coming fast behind, but all Holdcroft has got to do is get underneath that UCI banner today. And underneath that UCI banner, Maria Holdcroft will go. She goes clear. Kate McCarthy will chase into second, but Holdcroft takes her second win on the Sunday Race Club. Fabulous racing from Maria Holdcroft as Kate McCarthy comes underneath the line for second place. Fua, Guerra, Bruni, Guerra, Fua, Bruni. Look at the faces on those riders. Guerra takes that, I think. No, Catherine Fua takes it from Gabby Guerra. Bruni comes through for fifth place today.
And just making her way up to the line, Camilla Alberg will come through just ahead of Liz Van Heuling and then Francesca Tomasi, as these riders give absolutely everything in their pursuit of the top spot here in the race and the podium. So the riders absolutely shattered. Liz Van Heuling comes to a standstill on the way in and through, and we can see the results confirmed on your screen. Second win in the Sunday race for Maria Holcroft. She's into her winning ways. Mary Kate McCarthy denied her second dozen wins. 23 at the moment for Mary Kate McCarthy, the world champion, ahead of the medalists who were behind her in that world championships, Catherine Furr and Gabriela Guerra. Those positions reversed this time around. Mel Bruni in fifth, Kristen Kolczynski in sixth, Camilla Alberg in seventh, Francesca Tomasi in eighth, Liz Van Heuling in ninth. Rounding out the top 10 is, because it's not Kelsey J. Vine Shaw, she's a category 2 rider.
She is indeed, but they've not come across the line yet. Can I just say?
Shows you just how fast it is.
Yeah, it is indeed. But in those real pain caves, it does not get any easier. You just go faster.
Well, and with that quote from Emma, from an absolute legend, I have to...
I'm not the absolute legend.
No, well, you say that you should be. The legend in this studio, that is for sure, and further afield. A fantastic women's race. If you have missed any of it, don't forget it's available on the YouTube channel. Don't forget, of course, we will be coming back very shortly. Same stream, so stay where you are. Maybe go get yourself some rehydration, some fuel and fluids. You can join me, Matt Payne, it's at Matt Fixpain, and Emma Martin at Biking_Emma on social media, and back here for the men's race. If you are just watching the women's race, thank you very, very much for watching. Do make sure you subscribe to the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. Follow MyWhoosh. It's at MyWhoosh on Facebook and on Instagram as well. If you are going to be jumping on the coaching, Emma has got a serious coaching session coming up. She's doing,
I've got a
did you say
coaching week coming up?
6 sessions in the coming weeks. So do make sure you have a look on the MyWhoosh website. But even better, don't go anywhere. We will be back for the men's race very shortly. Thank you to our riders for keeping us entertained. Thank you for watching us. A big thank you to the team behind the scenes. They're definitely not allowed to go anywhere. They'll be back with us. So we'll see you for that men's race again soon. But from Emma and me, goodbye for now.
Goodbye.
So hello and welcome back to the Sunday Race Club here on MyWhoosh. Well, welcome back. If you're watching what was an incredible women's race, we are here, myself, Matt Payne, and Emma Martin in the studio. Emma, that women's race was an absolute blast.
It was indeed. And if you weren't here watching it, where were you?
Yeah, what were you doing? You can watch it again.
No spoilers, though.
Jump on board. We won't give any spoilers out in the men's race.
Other than it was so good.
Yeah. Okay. We are going to be kicking off. We're back into Arabia. We're back in Tel Marib, which is exactly where the women were. Just a slightly different course because we are going to be covering 45 kilometres with 532 metres, no, not kilometres, of ascent.
Well, yes, we have. And they come out of the start pens. Flat start. And, well, it's deceptive because this scale is not big. So the first climb coming at 12.2 kilometres. It's the aquarium climb, 3.2 kilometres, average gradient 2.5%. In other races, it's not a segment. It's just part and parcel of the parkour. They can drop down the other side up the wall that is the Liwa Desert climb. 2 kilometres, average gradient 3.5%. It's the first part that's steep. It kicks to 13%. Then there's a long transition before they come into Tel Marib itself. That first kicker, 800 metres at 10%. Then they drop down up and over the shorter, steep one into the transition to the Tel Marib Dune climb at 1 kilometre, 10.06. They then transition. They've got 5.3 kilometres from the top of the Tel Marib Dune climb to the checkered flag. It's a descent and then a flat run in. Expect somewhere there to be a sprint.
I would hope so. There's going to be a sprint or two.
Well, I can tell you, 1.2 seconds separated the top 7 riders in Category 2 last time we were on this course.
So a really interesting race route. It's my kind of course, I have to say, when the highest point on the course is less than 200 metres above sea level, albeit we do climb from about 40 metres below it on that Liwa Desert climb. It is, for me, the crux of the race. You've got to be in it to win it at the top of the aquarium climb. The Liwa Desert climb can often see race winning moves go. We then have that culmination, the finish, the run through the dunes and through the Tel Marib Dune climb. Going to be really interesting to see how that plays out across all 6 of our race categories. As always, 6 categorized race starts in the men's and women's races. The category 6 go first. They're our standard category. We have 5-minute gaps all the way through, with the exception between 2 and 3, which is a 10-minute gap. Let's start off with Category 6. Our teams represented today, Peter Truba and Simon Llewellyn representing BMC 6. The level beginning squad represented by Marcus Brito and Renato Ramos. The Los Amigos, Roynel Villada heading them up. And we have the ZTBRE cycling squad headed up by Osmar Vass. The biggest team, though, is the Spinergy team. Cameron Dadson, Drew Abbott and Novatas Yokobonis. The riders representing the Spinergy squad. Our second smallest race field of the day, I think.
Yeah, 40 riders on the start sheets today. 295 riders over all 6 categories. Jerome Smith took the win last time this category were in Tel Marib. Can he do it again today? Well, there's a huge number of other riders in the mix who are going to try and stop him, as away goes Toro Arago Driscoll. Fast out of the pen. Smith making sure he's covering the move. Drew Abbott in there, as well as Perez and Dvorak as well. Big push out the front, but Toro now sits up. Abbott drops in behind. Smith and the rest of the pack come across on the boardwalk. The pack is rolling. Well, they're over 40 kilometres an hour at the moment as they go over the bridge. The race is well and truly underway.
It certainly is. Now, this race route, the Tel Marib race route, it is a punchy route because there are some steep climbs. The Liwa Desert climb, well over 12% on the way through. Some of these sections going up very, very steep indeed. And in some ways, it's also a very typical Sunday race club route in the mould of Belgium, of the Hollywood Hills, because it is multiple hard efforts on the way through. So a very, very tough start. When you look at this parkour, this course of the 40 entrants today in category 6, is there anybody who particularly stands out for you, Emma, in terms of a rider who this course will suit?
Oh, that's a really...
Just one. Pick a
no,
name.
I don't know if I can. I would like to see young Riley Millerstick do well today.
Okay.
He's been getting better and better and better and stronger and stronger and stronger. Came out and started winning the sprints when we went to 6 categories. Has been top 5ing in category 6. It's a nice type of course for a rider who can sprint because these climbs really verge between sprinters and climbers. And also, his older brother Lyndon was 2nd in the Australian National Cycling Esports Championships at age 18. Riley is the younger brother.
So clearly
strong
family when young. So and older as well, because we know that's strong
his dad rode really well as well and won the Masters category.
So it'll be very interesting to see how that plays out. This is category 6 up and underway. Before we go too much further, I just want to say a massive thank you. Through the week, I had a nice little surprise because I learned that I was on a list of people who were impactful within esports cycling, the Virtual Velo Network's impactful list for 2025 came out, and my name was on it. I was quite surprised, having been around cycle sports since I was very, very young. Like, I'm not going to even tell you how young it was, single-digit numbers, right the way through. It's always nice.
Have you been on a list before?
I have been on a number of lists before, some of them for the good things as well as bad. But it was very, very good to be on there. I was very honoured, very shocked to be on there full stop in amongst a number of people. A big thank you to Chris and all the team on the Virtual Velo Network.
Can I just
put that in there? Do have a look on the Zmunique for the full list on there. And, of course, for the original list, which is last year's list, which had the full list. I think it was 100 last year.
I am just going to own up. I did recluse myself from the entire conversation.
Well, as a co-host here, I am not surprised at all, given that your ethics... Didn't say a word. No, I wouldn't have got it otherwise, probably. So there we go. So a big
thank
you.
Virtually to leave the room at the time.
It's been very nice. I have been around esports cycling, amongst other disciplines, but esports cycling since 2015-16, first riding on it, then organising through COVID. I've lost count the number of riders have been on the rise that we've organised, the number of riders we talked about, and we're here each and every Sunday. It's a real honour to be on MyWhoosh each week into year number 4 now. I'm really looking forward to seeing how everything progresses and to watch our riders when they go sprinting through.
And can we just say, what a phenomenal World Championships last year as well.
Yes. Will we see Matt Hooker at those World Championships? We will have to see. Certainly sprinting like there's a World Championship at stake as he goes through. I think he is going to be rewarded with top spot in terms of the speed through the sprint. So clearly got the sprint legs in category 6. They're the first riders in and through. They're on the left of your screen, but coming onto the big screen, it's category 5. Category 5 riders, the first step up from category 6. You got the BMC High 5 squad captained by Gonzalez. Gibson captain in the Rule 5 squad for BMC. The BMC 5 team with Sensing, Kennett and Kittle. You got Level Up, our biggest representation 5 riders, Rooney, Back, Pedersen, Warren and Bertrand. Watch out for the MPCC team. That's the last Noah Mortek. And of course, the Upcycle squad. Zanaska, Dromard, Mokhtari and Mayad. Mohammed Mokhtari on sterling form on his birthday last week. We'll see how they go today. They're up and away from the start. We're in with one of our regulars, a rider who came to our notice during the $1 million championship back in 2023.
My goodness, was it then?
It was indeed that long ago. You can watch that on the MyWhoosh YouTube channel. You can see how Xavier Mayad did in that. Did you know that Mayad was a make of freewheel? At the back, on the back wheel.
Yeah, it was. Also a form of wine gum.
No, it's a Maynard's, not a Mayard.
Oh, gotta get one wrong. Well, Christoph Labno is the rider on the front at the moment, pushing on. And can I just say, I love a stage race. That $1 Million Champs was amazing.
It was.
But Labno at the front, Mamba following shortly. Broadbent is there as well as Villada. Cadabona in the mix as well as Gonzalez. Adam Dawson is there as well. Just look at the size of that pack. 55 riders in category 5. Not our largest race field. today, but it is stacked. Mark Dadson is there. Mike Broadbent, we've seen. Gavaria is there. Warren, Bertrand, Roy, Drummond, Mokhtari, McMurtry, Brian White, Category 5, Ian Lloyd, Joel Warren. Siddle is there. Anderson. It is just a packed field of riders who are so strong. Patrick Mortek. I tell you what, he could be a rider for today.
They can indeed. Now, Mohammed Mokhtari on our screens here, definitely a rider who it could be today. You missed, although you probably saw it when you were watching it back. I know you had a look back at Mohammed Mokhtari burn out the candle for his birthday last week. So a belated happy birthday from Emma, who's on the other side. You can say it. It's all right. You don't need to get me to say it for you.
Well, yeah, indeed. Happy birthday for last week.
There you go. And blew out the candle on the cake and then ate the cake, which I thought was great because whilst on screen.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I know you would have been watching and probably furiously scribbling notes as per normal on the way through. Great ride by him last week. Really impressed. And the week before, really impressed by what he was up to over the last few weeks. A fantastic rider. Now,
well, can I also just say, sorry, I've just noticed another name there that I think could go well today. Dylan Kennett.
Oh, yes, Dylan Kennett, definitely a rider to watch out for, a man who has made a habit of beating Michael Vink in the past. Sometime in the past.
Jeff Rooney also climbs really well.
Jeff Rooney on our screens now. Jeff in here with the sign to the Pain Cave to his left. Right, it's a brilliant. It's just like the panel or the signage. I think I've spent more of my time putting up out and around when we put on events. Good to see Jeff once again. Jeff, I think, is going for the record number of events consecutively on MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club.
Well, can I also say Jeff Rooney for me? Fabulous climber. But these ones today are short and sharp. For me, Jeff is a long endurance climber and really comes to the fore when we see those types of courses.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, Jeff Rooney in some ways sums up exactly what the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club is about. Going out and racing, being competitive against people, having a great fun, and at the same time really finding a little bit about yourself, because when you race, there's that's something extra that you find out. You find out that a little bit more about yourself. You push yourself somewhere maybe you wouldn't normally go to when you're out on the bike, racing and riding, whether that's racing against your mates, whether you're doing one of the regular rides, a training session. You'll find out, I'm sure, in the live training sessions that you do, Emma, when you've got company, riding on the bike, people will just push that a little bit and find that a little bit extra about themselves.
Well, yeah, and let's see who's going to do that in Cat 4, shall we?
Go on then, let's go across to Category 4 as Category 5 go through that sprint. Category 4, now, our teams, BMC the BMC racing team here. We've got Cadiz, Quadrelli, Robinson and Pino on the list for them. Dirt first, Young and Fitzia. We've got in a fight, that is going to be Parchansky. The level racing for Lindenberg, Svart, Olport and Hagland. On the Rivet Racing, Bulgarian Arroyeva and Gonsolin. Peak Power Racing represented by Van der Zandt, Trujillo and Rocker. Reichel, Finland, Grohl and Rusimaki. We've got a number of other riders representing the teams, but only on their own as well. Now, I've got to say, interesting to see so many teams on this. It's not our biggest race category, but it is our biggest number of teams until you go into Category 1. So very interesting to see how these riders play this out, because it is, of course, team tactics, and riding as a team or as a group of riders will help you in terms of drafting, in terms of being in with the pace. But to be there, you've got to get out these pens safely. Category 4 up and away. Before we dive into the riders and Category 4 riders who've been going well on this route, got to say, we're not going to have with us, who is on start list, Peter Connell. And Peter Connell is a did not start, and he's more than excused because he is a real life hero. Got to say, absolutely, if you want a reason to not be here today, he's not going to tell you about this, but I am. and I might get in trouble for telling you, but I don't really care because the guy is an absolute hero. He's not starting because he spent 3 hours in a drain cutting somebody out of a car who's had to go to hospital. Lucky to be alive, the water was 100 millimeters from being over the head of the guy in the car. Peter Connell, real life hero, mate. You win the today's prize for everything, including hero today. So, a brilliant ride by Pete Connell. In real life, a real roller coaster. And I tell you something, people, we talk about Sunday Race Club, but people have lives outside of it and do all sorts of amazing things outside of the Sunday Race Club as well as on the Sunday Race Club.
They do indeed. And sport is a fabulous thing because it brings people together from all around the world, but those individuals do amazing things outside as well.
They do indeed. Now, let's dive back into the race pack who are here. We're just here with Juan Quiros here today. Quiros, definitely a rider who has impressed over the last few weeks and since he has joined. Category 4 rider, and going to be interesting to see how he goes. He's going to be in category 4. Good to see that he's got a live cam on the go and he's listening. Now, question will be, is he going to be in the top 15? If you're listening, one, top 15, yes or no? Are we going to get a thumbs up or a thumbs down? We will find out. Got to let for the timeline for it to bounce backwards and forwards, but Juan doing an amazing job. I think today could be a good day for Juan on the course. Looking at his power numbers, looking at how he rides, I think he's going to be on with a good chance today.
Well, do you know, there's a lot of riders in here on with a good chance today because there's some fabulous riders in category 4, and this is a really interesting course. Now, last time we were here on Telmarib with the men, category 4 winning time 72 minutes. Walker and Skierski have both progressed to category 3. They were the top 2 here last time out, so those top 2 spots are open. Nick Squilari going well. Torsten Holtz, Ryan Giuliano, Kirchner, Ben Kirk, David Young, Robinson, Svort, Luke Allport. Well, you know what? Could be a good one for him.
I would never bet against Luke Allport on this course, ever, because it's kind of similar to Hollywood, which we know is the undisputed king of Hollywood Hills.
The undisputed king of Hollywood.
He is indeed the undisputed king of Hollywood.
Luke Allport.
Yeah, exactly. It won't be long before
Bruce
they're putting
Willis.
a star down for him. Yeah.
Oh,
indeed.
God, that'd be so cool.
It would, wouldn't it? What we would need to do is have a little look. Maybe there's a place alongside in Hollywood on the MyWhoosh where the stars are down with some of the riders' names. That would be a super cool feature. Anyway, one of those stars is going to be Francis Pino. Pino sprinting through there, but not having the fastest time because Nicholas Spratt went from the back of the bunch to the front. And it's got that green jersey. The green skin suit indicates that the rider is leading on the sprints competition with one sprint done. It's the fastest time through that sprint, so don't forget. Watch out for those green skin suits. Green tops and green bottoms means that they are our sprinters rather than our category 2 riders who have a green jersey. Gets confusing sometimes for people, I know. I appreciate that. Does for me too. Okay. Into category 3, so moving up through the categories. Anzac's team, Bloom and Brook representing them, the Aotearoa Alliance with Wojciech, one of the key riders for them over the last few months. BMC have got Niall Abati, who's desperately hoping that it's going to be the endurance climb in the finals. That's still to be confirmed at the moment. The Cycling District 3, the third category 3 riders from Portugal, Vieira, Andrade, along with Piera. Level Golden with Golden Boy himself, Eric Rimborg, joined by Rune Bakken. You've got the What's Up squad, Christian Montoya, Marta Clays, but the Sandstorm squad going down early, playing those cards. 5 riders for them, Sinclair, Gates, Becker, Fourier and Fell. Fourier and Fell both riding well and on form at the moment, so I'm going to be really interested to see how they go. But I think this is our largest race field, if I'm not much mistaken. It is
indeed. 58 riders on the start sheets today here in category 3. Well, it is such a huge race field. It really, really is. You know, Bloom, Rimborg, Gates, Fell, Clays, Rushmer, Diduch is in there. Tidholm, Goodall, Vargas, Alrametri, Moreno, Oviedo, Joseph Miller's in here as well. Angarita, Kalman. Oh, Matthias Kalman could go well. Who else is here? Nikol Kansara, Kochakov is here as well. Edwards, Duma, Walker, who took the win in Category 4 last time we were here in January. He moved up to Category 3 this year. Trent Stevenson and Zach Petterson as well. You know, this is a massive race field. Who is going to take the win? Daniel Tidholm rode well here last time.
I wouldn't discount Mark Gates. Mark has been riding really strongly, really well, and we know he's got good power, he's got good pace, and inspired, I hope, by that Australian national jersey behind him. I think a rider, I'm going to be really interested to see how he goes on the course with these short, sharp sprints and the short, sharp climbs on here, and can he make the team of 5 riders of Sandstorm count? Sinclair, Gates, Becker, Fourier, and Fell. They are another real strong riders. Now, Henry East just taking a little bit of a leg stretch off the front of the group here. Wanted to keep the pace up here. Good to see here. Good to see Henry East, one of our regulars on the Sunday Race Club, in action out of the saddle already. I tell you something, Henry East, I think, must have ridden every single course we race on one way or another, because he's doing some. He's always present. Again, a bit like Jeff Rooney, potentially going for an ever-present award for having done the most MyWhoosh Sunday Race Clubs. One
day we'll actually do a little bit of work in the week and find out who has the ever-present.
I've done some.
Title. Have you?
I have done some. And I have to say, it's not simple. That's simply because we've been going so long.
Records do not go back that far.
Not necessarily accurately enough.
Oh.
Because there's one thing having a result, but you want it to be accurate. That's why, of course, we have verification on the Sunday Race Club, and we have all of those checks against that. So before I say who's done the most, I wanted to double check. When I double checked, it didn't come out with the same answer. But much like most of my maths, let's face it. Now, one rider who is relatively new compared to some of our presence is Ivo Schur. Ivo, though, very much in the thick of action on a frequent basis. You can see him there on the left of your screen once again, and up and riding. Definitely a rider who I think could be in the mix. And Schur's got a good record overall on the Sunday Race Club, I think.
He also took 4th place here back in January on Tel Marib. Yeah. So this is a course that does suit him, you know.
And I think, if I remember correctly, I'm sure he's had at least one win on the Sunday Race Club. But that was on a long, long climb. Paso Alto.
That is a long... Well, yes, those are 2 long climbs. The final climb, not that steep as well. So interesting. Very, very different to today.
Yeah, 100% very different to today. Rick Van Erck just going through, taking the sprint. Another rider who's been impressing with his pace and power. Rick Van Erck, the rider from the Netherlands, not yet cracked the top 5 in a Sunday Race Club. I don't think he might. He might be on course to do that very shortly.
He's very focused on the sprint competition, and he very much is one of the really strong sprinters in the Category 3 pack. And on a number of occasions has taken that sprint green skin suit. Setting the fastest time in Category 3 on that Eldar HQ sprint, the fastest time overall at the moment. Matthew Hooker, the Category 6 rider, still sat in 2nd place, actually, in terms of time. Fournier coming in close behind to Van Erck in Category 3. Nicholas Spratt taking the fastest time in Category 4. Marius Fosseed taking the fastest time in Category 5. So those riders thick and fast, but Van Erck, 1,167 watts average for that 200-meter sprint.
Big kick, big power. Now, rider who we haven't mentioned so much so far, Walter Clays. Clays, another of our class performers, another regular here on the Sunday Race Club. I feel he's coming back from a dip in performance results, not necessarily in form, but in terms of results, because I always think Walter Clays is going to be one of those riders who's just, when he gets this run running and he gets these wins going, he's just going to nail one after the other after the other after the other. It's not happened yet. No pressure. But
well,
I do think he's a rider who he's just been knocking on the door, then wasn't, and then is again. And I know we've got dynamic categories, but he's done over 90 Sunday race clubs.
Yeah, and he's had some good performances as well.
Yeah, I mean he's won, I think 2 or 3.
Yeah, well, yes.
But I think he's got a lot more in it. I've got high standards for Walter. I have very standards for everybody, including myself. Mine are very low. In terms of performances. Walter Clays, I always think he's got it in him to be really, really right up there. And I think a little bit of a dip of like it's going to change. I'm sure we're going to see him come back and absolutely flying, but probably from about the middle of March, it's kind of just dropped a little bit. He was right up there. He did that sort of boom, 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 going really well. Then it's his section round about January was brilliant, and then he's just dipped off a little bit.
Well, we can't all hold our form all year.
I'd like to hold my form for more than about 4 days. That'd be nice. And I don't mean my form in terms of holding cake in the correct position, because I've actually had 2 cake runs this week on the bike.
Well, there we go.
I have. I've been to the cake shop twice in 2 days. In fact, it was. Albeit they were recovery rides after a very long group ride where I got my head proverbially kicked in by pretty much everybody on the ride.
Not literally, metaphorically.
Pretty much metaphorically, but it felt like literally at the time. It's definitely long. It was really good though to get out with the group, and it did remind me of exactly why we, the good bits about riding your bike. And there are some bad bits. There's not many. Let's face it. A bad bike ride is always better than a good walk, but it's true. But when you ride in a bike and there's a group of you, and this doesn't matter what discipline or what whether you're on esports or wherever, when you're on, you've got a group, you're out and riding. It is brilliant to do that with your mates. It's brilliant to do that with a group that you have got a common goal and share that common goal. Ryan Dummer here, a rider who really rides well on Sunday Race Club. Really impressed by him and riding in company in the Pain Cave there.
Well, yeah, and the Welsh flag on the screen at the moment, and yes, I can tell you Tom Walker also has a Welsh flag, but yes, when you drive from England into Wales, the Welsh dragon welcomes you. So he's not just on the flag, he's in all the signs in Wales as well, and I always love that.
Dummer not yet to take a victory in the Sunday Race Club, so I'll be interested to see whether he can do that today. Now, let's jump across to Category 5. They're a bit further on to a race route, currently at 12.5k, which means we're 300 metres into the aquarium climb. We've not yet entered the subterranean world that is the aquarium with the water of the glass ceiling above, but we are on our way towards the arched entrance. You can see the glass ceiling, though, over the top. Hopefully nobody will smash through the literal glass ceiling. Well, the virtual glass ceiling rather than the metaphorical glass ceiling, if we're going to go doing pedantry for our vocabulary. As we go across to Category 2 very shortly, because guess what? They're pretty much ready to go to a race start. 45 seconds to race start in Category 2. Our penultimate race category, the Abu Dhabi cycling team, the one and only legendary Ivan Nuki lining up for them up against Cycling Districts Team 2, which is Daniel Pinto and Thiago Clamott. We have got the smartest team, the biggest team in terms of numbers here today. Bengston Theme, Betty Ritter and Walter all out to be the smartest in the bunch. Will the multicoloured bunch take it away today? We're going to have to find out. Don't forget the hitmen are here. Ross Fawcett captaining them. The UAE Falcons, Ahmed Al Tanaji and Zaid Hamdan taking to a race start. But the aggressive team award of the year, the century, is always going to go to the UAE clan team. Mr. X100, Pablo Bobovic and SS. And you can see we're in with Mr. X100 here from race start. A rider whose course today is going to definitely suit because it's aggressive. The only thing that he would wish for is it was even longer and even tougher climbs en route.
Well, it is indeed, as Category 2 go out of the start pen. It is indeed short and sharp, not long and draggy. SS on the front of the group, Kisnowski there as well, X100 in the mix. Cantasaro in here too. Category 2, 50 5 riders on the start sheets today. Betty was at the top of the tree last time we were in Telmarib. Skirski, Havo, Nitko, and Morel were top 5, but as I said at the start of the show, 1.2 seconds separated the top 7 riders in category 2 last time we were on this course. And it could well be that you're throwing a blanket over the finish line again, because these riders here, there are so many on this list who could do the business today here in Telmarib in Arabia. Mendakowicz, Shuran, Skirski, Milostic, Graves, Keradine, Betts, Zachnair, Ross Fawcett. Oh, Fawcett's been coming on strong, actually.
Phil Gray's been super strong.
Anders Bengston.
He knows how to. He's ridden all these climbs for years. Mohammed Al Alami, another rider who could be right in that mix. Khan Kane, Burt Kane duo. I mean, it's again something that's going to, like you said, category 2, really, really interesting. One man who I'm going to put some serious pressure on now.
No pressure.
Loads of pressure. Ivan Nuki. On your screens, this man is, it looks like he's currently in the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club by the look of that, because you can see some of the festival. They've been doing a lot of racing there recently, and good to see him in action once again. And Ivan, you'll be glad to know that I can finally get into the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club kit that I got whilst I was out there. Yeah, it's all this riding. It's not the cake, believe me.
Wow,
it's because I've actually managed to put enough kilometres in over the past few weeks to actually get in the kit.
I was a bit stuck, actually, when you started category 2, because I was focusing a little bit on the Welsh Dragon, because all of a sudden I was talking about Welsh Dragons and Welsh flags, and I was thinking about Ivor the Engine.
Ivor the Engine.
Which was a TV programme when I was young. That was created by the wonderful Oliver Posgate. Exactly, Ivor the Engine.
That is the noise he makes. That is the sound effect of the steam train.
All I could think about was, what was the name of the dragon? Idris.
Idris the Dragon.
Jones the Steam. Jones was the man who drove
It
Ivor
was
the
full
Engine.
of stereotypes. It
was indeed, but it was. I loved it. And I was just thinking dragons. Anyway, there's my story for the day.
If you wish to date Emma and her age, and don't want to just go to steal the information from the from whichever bit of social media you follow her on, you can look up Ivor the. I actually have an Ivor the Engine picture book.
Do you?
I do. I did up till about 4 weeks ago, and it may well have disappeared somewhere.
Can I just say, if you're trying to date me, I wasn't alive when the first episode aired.
Oh well, there you go.
In fact, my mum was only 4.
It's of its era. That's all I'm going to say. And Wales is not quite like that, but you can go visit Wales for some very, very amazing steam train rides. They are not an express train, and they probably go slower than our bunch is moving at the moment, which is 50k an hour plus, as they go in through the sprint. A Spina putting down some big power there. He takes away the sprint, and I'm not surprised. That was a phenomenal kick.
Oh, can I just say, if you do want to go to Wales and you are interested in steam trains, go and do the Race the Train as part of your holiday. We'll talk about that a little bit later, after we've got category 1 off the line.
Okay, we might not. So here we go. This is category 1. We have got our top of the tree. We ought to be serious. We shouldn't be serious category 1, because you know what? They're amazing. Abus Esports, so the Abus Synergy squad, the Alpha Jaw squad. Now they've got strength in depth. Churich with Justin Kaminsky and Jones. Boss moves only. Osborne, Nussum, Vink Safrazedi. Farmwatt squad, Andreasen, Puckett, Noren, and Plantero. They're the squads of those on your screens that have the big numbers. But today it's also about being able to ride strongly in the wheels when the pace is on. We're in with Leonard Chugels, a man who will be looking for race win as we set off on our final qualifier in April. The final qualifier, the final wave of riders away in our final qualification race prior to our finals next week, when that team competition comes into play across all 6 race categories. It does mean that if you haven't got your qualifying rides in now, then you're not going to get them in before next week. But you know what? perfect time to get some training, some practice, maybe some inspiration whilst they are racing, ready for the first qualifier in May. Now, Category 1 up and away. Over half of the riders, actually, nearly 2/3, in teams on the start list here in Category 1. It does include our world champion, and got to say, Jason Osborne, maybe not as dominant as he has been of late, but he has been doing a lot of riding in multiple disciplines.
He's been gravel racing. And why not?
Yeah.
Gravel, cycling esports, combo.
It's a good combination, and I think there's a lot. You need power, you need to be reactive, you need to be able to deal with things changing very quickly. Those are the similarities.
But you don't get mud and punches.
You don't get mud, you don't necessarily get punctures, but I do know somebody who did once get a puncture on a turbo train, and it wasn't me. You don't get the same data input about your competition that you can see here, because of course not only do we see the riders' numbers, but if our riders have a second screen or they have a DS or coach in their ear, they're going to be able to find out just how high Stefan Van Elst's heart rate is, exactly how much power he's putting down, whether he's in the draft, as you can with all of them. Van Elst, class rider.
Yes. Took third place on the Telmarie course when we were here in January. Osborne, Vink, Van Elst, Yassin and Tugels were the top 5. He's been really, really dominant this year. He's been putting in some great performances week after week after week as Stefan Van Elst. He's on the line today, and so is Vink, so is Safra Zadie, Andreasen, Pucker, Plantero, Jacobs, Paradians, Kroll, Panizza is here. So really, really strong. Joel Lewis has been absolutely dialing it on the front as well. Since the word go, 1.9 kilometres into the race. And yes, Joel Lewis is still at the front. Niall Pedersen in the mix, Kel Power, Michael Vink. There we go. We are in the cave, in the garage. You can see it's dark outside where Vink is at the moment, and all times of the clock are riders' race. If they are in Australia and New Zealand, it is nighttime. If they're in the USA and Canada, it's really early in the morning at the moment. But Tugels, Wu, Noren and Manchango all in the mix as the pack rolling strongly. But it's Vidal Mayer who goes off the front through the sprint at the moment. Does he keep going? Does he keep rolling? He does indeed, but Mayer and Paradians takes the green skin suit. Let's just take a look at that. Oh, Jasper Paradians, 1,253 watts average through the sprint, 17.4 watts per kilo. That is flying. Well, Paradians flying through the sprint, 11.3 seconds. Carlos Ospina taking it in category 2. Rick Van Erck taking it in category 3. That is a cracking time as well, 11.8. Nicholas Spratt in category 4. Marius Fossid in category 5. And Matthew Hooker, another phenomenal time in category 6, taking the win there in that sprint competition.
I'll tell you something, some of those sprinters were powered by their own dragon in the boiler, firing up the engine on the way through. I am just going to, we're going to do 2 last Ivor the engine things.
Are we?
We are going to do 2 last ones. First of all, if you do want to see it, go onto YouTube and look for the cartoon version of Ivor the engine, not the animated stop motion animation, the picture, the hand drawn animation one.
They were beautiful.
Absolutely beautiful illustrations. So that's the one from me. Emma, go on, your last Ivor the engine. You're not allowed any more after this.
I'm not going to do Ivor. I'm going to do Race the Train. If you want to do the Race the Train for 2025, it is on the 16th of August. People come from all around the world. It's Towyn, Mid Wales. The Race the Train annual cross country running is 14 miles up the hill. and back down again. You have to beat the steam train. So the steam train leaves the station at the same time as the runners do. You have to run 14 miles. You go up the mountain. The train does have to turn around at the top, which is what takes time. Brian White is on our screen at the moment. He could fly in from the USA and race the train on the 16th of August in Wales.
Sorry, I was very quickly just checking out the speed of our riders and just how fast they're able to go. Brian White, I tell you something, Brian White has come in with a bang. I mean, we talk about people announcing themselves into Sunday race. So Brian White definitely doing some amazing riding. So let's see how he is going to go. So I think. We'll see how his racing is now. Brian White, one of our riders out on course. At the moment on our screens, Dylan Kennett, left-hand side, a rider that you mentioned earlier, just ahead of Brian White, who's chasing. Dylan Kennett is an absolutely class rider. He's been taking it and handing it out there. He really has made himself at home, hasn't he? He's currently just on his way up the Leeward Desert Climb. And I tell you something, this Category 5 racing is hard because he's got a gap, but there's a big pack behind him.
Well, he has got a gap. It's just a small gap, 2 seconds at the moment, but he's pushing on. This is the top part of the Leeward Desert Climb. They've come up the steepest section. This is the last part before we get to the polka dot banner. We've then got a very long transition to the base of the Tel Marib multiple dune section. There's a point here at which Kennett can continue to go for the polka dot skin suit. Good option. But with that pack behind, my thoughts are he's going to slot back into the group and roll with them until they get to the Tel Marib dunes.
And for me, the worry is you go too hard for the climb and you blow and go. When you get caught, you go backwards through that group. Always very, very dangerous. Interesting to see Andrew Downey on the move here. Andrew Downey, of course, who was in action in those Australian Championships in action there. Also looking good here today on the front on this slight rise. You just come around the turn and go onto this riser up through here. And it does start to tick into the riders' legs. We're 9 kilometres into this race route, and they've got to be starting to think about this aquarium climb and how they mix this up. We're just going to come up towards the roundabout, right turn, slight left, then onto the roundabout, then we head off to the aquarium climb. These little risers, if you go too hard here, it affects your aquarium climb abilities.
I sort of want to disagree with you.
Feel free.
I'd argue that they really sort of help your legs because you're pushing on, you're just putting a little bit more pressure through those pedals and getting ready for the climbs. They're not long enough to do some real damage.
No, they're not long enough to do some damage. I mean, Giselle Betty, he knows what he's doing. He's not going to be having an internal debate with Matt on one shoulder and Emma on the other shoulder about how hard he should go. He knows what he's doing here today. You see, he's got the energy to sit in the group and listen, watch the coverage, and to be able to.
Well, I'll tell you something. What he's also got the knowledge that he's won on this course before.
Yeah, is indeed true. So Giselle Betty nicely tucked in this group, an experienced racer. And this is a huge, huge pack. Frederick Gombert in here, Skierski, Sinlander in here, Todd Allen Young as well. A lot of riders staying with this pace. An indication maybe that even the really aggressive riders, SS Process 100, Phil Graves, they're waiting a little bit longer.
Oh,
today.
I would too.
They're waiting until we go into the back end of this course.
Yes or no, as the case may be. We always say when you look,
sit on the fence, why don't you?
I know. I'm going to give you both options. I say yes because you look at the course and you look at the back end of this and you think, whoa, that's where the race is going to be won. But never make an assumption when you look at a course because someone could attack early and go, don't do what we expect. Let's do the unexpected. Lyndon Milostic at 7.6 kilometres going off the front of the Category 1 pack. They're rolling 3 seconds behind. Now let's just time trial away, shall we? Question is, are they going to chase him? Are they going to bring him back?
No.
Or are they just going to leave the rider hanging out in front of the expo sign?
All three of those simultaneously. Definitely. Leave him out.
Definitely, yes.
Leave him out. Don't bother chasing, and make him work for as long as possible to try and blunt that sprint speed that we know that he has got. Now, one man who is probably one of the most experienced esports racers at the top level of the sport, Lionel Verjasin, is on your screens on the left. As I do give him a follow on social media, have a look and see just at how good his palmares are, his track record of racing and riding. And as we move forward with the Alpha Jaw squad into the finals next week, and I think we need to be looking at that. He's going to be key, isn't he? Churek, Verjasin, Kaminsky, and Jones. It's all about having strength in depth in the team. And when you've got like somebody like Lionel Verjasin, not only have you got a rider who's got the physical abilities, but he's got that experience. If something changes, if something goes wrong, if the different scenario comes up, he's got that in his background that allows him that extra depth that younger riders like Linda Milostic just haven't had the chance to build up. They don't have that background library of knowledge.
Well, it's interesting, isn't it? So in the team competition in Category 1 men, Boss Moves only won in January. Boss Moves only won in February. Alpha Jaw was second in January. Alpha Jaw was second in February. March, it was all change in California because Aber Synergy took the win in the team competition in the men's Category 1. Alpha Jaw were second again. So Alpha Jaw have been second in every final this year.
And with the greatest respect to Daniel Churek, Lionel Verjasin, Michael Kaminsky, and Ollie Jones, who are top of the tree, they are not the current world champion. They are not Michael Vink.
Oh, hold on a minute.
And they are not currently the riders that we are saying are the top two. So to do that, what they're doing that by riding smart, strongly as a squad, not necessarily relying on individual superstars.
Consistency, team packing.
Brilliant riding by them.
Yeah, and I also think, the Sunday Race Club is every Sunday across 12 months of the year. Let's not forget that. You cannot be top form for the entirety of that 12-month period. You have got to come off. You've got to come off of training, at that high level at some point and take some period of rest. They've also got other competitions that they're going to be keeping their eye on. We talked about Jason Osborne riding the World Gravel, wanting that qualification for the World Gravel Championships, as well as riding and racing cycling esports. There's also the fact that the World Championships, the announcement of it being on the 15th of November, the riders will now have that date in their calendars. They'll now have that training plan in place, or they'll still be finalising it, to peak on the 15th of November. We are only in April.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have your form now in April when you want it in November.
Well, you can, but you might have to have a dip in between.
Well, yeah.
You've got to get that scheduling right. One rider who we know is going to be on form today, I think, is going to be Khan Kane. He really has been riding strongly, and this course is a course he knows well. Historically, for me, this is the sort of course that would suit him on the way through to that race finish at 45 kilometres into the route. Sharp, punchy, not massive super climbs, but lots of very high intensity efforts. What I can't believe when we talk about Khan Ken is that he has not had a win on the Sunday Race Club yet. Seriously. He has taken overall sprint jerseys. He's taken overall King of the Mountains jerseys.
He's had top fives, though, hasn't he?
He has a third and a second place, but never yet taken the win. And if you had said that to me at the start of any time in the last 12 months, I'd have been surprised. So I would have thought he would be up there. Now, one man who we know is going to be battling away for the win, Nick Squillari, back on form again.
Yeah, he's riding strongly. And you can see there, just pushing on. We're at the 24-kilometre marker. So up and over the Aquarium climb, up and over the Leeward Desert climb. We're on the transition towards the Tel Marib sprint. Fairly flat. You can see that at the moment on the top right-hand corner of your screen. The red line gives you the gradient and the the parkour that's coming up. The yellow vertical line is where our rider, who we are in with at the moment, is on that course. And then you've also got the satellite navigation image overlaid on top, where you can see the red riders from Category 4, the blue jerseys of Category 5, and the purple jerseys of Category 6, all coming together on this section of course. So Pino at the front, Squilari, well, Francis Pino's just closed down that gap and gone over the top of Nick Squilari. Giuliano is there, Paul Garin is there, Mason Rocker is there as well. The riders at the front of the Category 4 pack now all coming back together, but Pino continuing to push on the pedals. He doesn't want to let off the pace. They want to keep, whether it's him or Spratt, they want to keep this pace rolling. They're up at 43 kilometres an hour at the moment. And I think there are a few riders in here who are trying to tire the group. But the smart rider, well, the rider my money would be on, if I was a betting woman, and I'm not, is sat at the back of that bunch.
But you didn't put a name to them. Any one of the riders, whoever's at the back, that's the one.
Well, the smart riders are at the back of that bunch. Or the tired riders are at the back of the bunch.
Well, it depends on your point of view, because for me, I would be wanting to animate it a bit, because you can't rely. I think you want to be making it hard enough that when you get into the hilly sections, you really are making it hard. Coming in to our climb, coming into the Aquarium climb, Category 1, the last group to set out from the race start. Well, it is the riders in that Category 1 race field. They come underneath the polka dot banner as one big group. The world champions sat at what is about 8th or 9th wheel at the moment as they come onto this climb. You can see that we've got the green jersey there, the sprint jersey, as they start to make their way up. They are still chasing Linda Milostic, who's got a 15-second lead. So put that number in your head, 15 seconds. That's the lead Milostic had coming into the climb. Place your guesses now, because if you are guessing that they're going to be at the top before him, or whether a certain Linda Milostic will beat them to the top. My bet is it's come together and it's broken apart again.
Do you think? Well,
yeah, that's my
Jason
guess.
Osborne, Hayden Pucker, Mikhail Kaminski, Stefan van Elstler, Tugels, Bjorn Andresen, Dovin Nitko, all in the mix here, all in this group. Christoph Kroll is there as well. They are rolling. Michael Knudsen is there too. There's Bjorn Andresen. We can see him there on the screen, up and out of the saddle in his pain cave. Part and parcel of this group on the Aquarium climb. They're coming up towards a flatter section where would I anticipate the group rolling back. Michael Vink is the rider pushing on at the front of the pack, whilst we just slip in with the Category 2 pack, who have gone underneath the banner at the top of the climb. Maciej Mendakowicz picking up the polka dot skin suit. Look at the tail on that Category 2 pack. It's a huge group of riders going up and over the top of the Aquarium climb. That pack of riders, I can tell you, 45 riders in that leading group.
So 45 riders in that leading group as they go over the top. Mendakowicz looking for his 15th win on the Sunday Race Club, one of our prolific winners. And speaking of prolific winners, we're in with Michael Vink, who is now chasing Linda Milostic. He's trying to break clear of the group. He's got Stefan van Els for company. Jason Osborne is kicking down hard. So is Marshall Wu, Bjorn Andreasen, as they've come on. They've not left it long into this climb to put the pressure down, to get that chain tight. And Vink at the moment setting the tempo on the front here of this pack, and look at the gap they brought down. They have come together very, very quickly with Linda Milostic, and in doing so, they have fractured the back of the group, with one or two riders now being distanced by that increase in pace. Interestingly, though, it's a big, big pack in Category 1, almost as big as the pack in Category 2.
Well, the pack in Category 2, as we said, 45 riders, which is bigger than the entire race field plus more on Category 1. So 33 riders in that Category 1 race field start sheet today. 45 riders still in this pack that you are watching at the moment as they head down off of the Aquarium climb. They will very shortly be running into the base of the Leeward Desert climb. Well, there's the question. 45 riders at the top of the Leeward Desert climb? I don't think so.
Let's see how it plays out. We're back in with Category 1. World champ On the front, Jason Osborne, rider's distance behind here. Interestingly, Jasper Paradians, the rider with the green skin suit of the sprint leader, nicely in with this group. And the way that this pack is riding at the moment, these sprints, now if you want to take away a sprint win, you're going to need to stay in the pack, I think, because our next sprint, it's only 2 sprints today. Those 2 sprints with 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points available for the riders are going to be dealt with at pace, and staying in the group is going to be key if the group is still together. Vink and Van Elst on your screens. We're in with Van Elst's avatar in the main screen as well. You see both riders in person out of the saddle here.
I love this when we get a multiple pain cave shot and you can see the riders side by side in the pack on the screen or battling for a sprint on the screen, and you can see the shot in terms of what is going on in their pain caves as well.
And you'll notice both riders with, and we have remarked on this about Michael Vink before, having a very clean and tidy pain cave. It's really essential. My co-host here, I have had an insight into the state of her pain cave. Emma has many fantastic and amazing qualities, including being a world-class UCI commentator, but having a tidy pain cave is not going to win her any medals at all in that category.
Well, I do remember when
Yeah, that's one of the
it's
not true.
No. I do remember. I'm not sure I should actually say this out loud. I do remember when one of the wives of one of our Category 1 riders messaged me and told me that the Category 1 rider had been forced to tidy their pain cave because it was shocking having it on screen in the mess that it was. Well, Michael Knudsen, the boss moves only, selling the fastest, moving on quickly, selling the fastest time up the aquarium climb at 4 minutes 43 seconds. Maciej Mundakowicz in Category 2, Niall Batty in Category 3. Really great and strong climbing, and I can tell you 20 riders, 21, 22, because Glennis has just gone over the top, but he's one of the riders distance from that Category 1 pack. But in Category 1, Knudsen, Van Elst, Kaminsky, Power, Pedersen, Vujasin, Kugels, Kroll, Pucker, Panizza, Paradians, Jones, Andreasen, et al. All go over the top together.
Now, they're going over the top in Category 1 as Category 2 reach the base of the Leeward Desert. You basically descend down from the aquarium climb. You drop below sea level to the base of the climb. Onto the climb. Mr. X100 has gone over the top of the climb, attacked on the downhill, and given himself some space here by going on the attack. Mr. X100 with in excess of 165 Sunday Race Club participations.
Oh, that's a lot.
It is a lot. It is a heck of a lot of racing. It's a lot of race miles. It's a lot of race distance as well. And these riders putting it in week after week, effort after effort. I tell you something, Mr. X100, that was a smart move by him, because he has got himself enough room that this bunch are going to come running onto his heels pretty much towards the top of the first phase of this climb, rather than necessarily being in that group and suffering for the first section. He's been able to climb the first part of this at his own pace. The response has come from the rest of the group as SS and Co now go around him. And the group has already split behind these riders that we're seeing on our screens. We've already seen a number of riders distance. You can see them just coming around what is their right-hand turn. They're just going underneath that yellow set of arches, and they are out of the running. If you lose this group now, you're not going to be in contention as you come into the finish. This is the lead group. Ross Forcer, SS, Shuren right up at the front. Wozniak still in the mix as well. Rios in here. Mr. X100, Frederick Gombe, one of those riders who I expect to see going really well today on this course. The back of the group, you can see they are fighting to stay on the wheels. One by one, they're being put in trouble as Fawcett continues to push on here. I think he probably takes the prize for the most Spartan view of a camera, not the usual outdoors that we see from Ross Fawcett. That's a very Spartan pain cave today.
Well, I'll tell you something, Fawcett, regardless of what his pain cave looks like, the power in his legs is getting better and better and better. We've seen him with some really fast finishes recently on the Sunday Race Club, and the strength of Ross Fawcett and how he is riding and racing at the moment, absolutely brilliant. I think he's going to be right in the mix at the end. I was just sitting there thinking about 165 performances on the Sunday Race Club for X100. That's over 3 years every Sunday, and I know for a fact he's not been ever present every Sunday. There are some Sundays where X100 isn't on the start line. That is a long, long commitment to the Sunday Race Club.
I know.
It's great.
I know. I've been here for quite a lot of them, but not all of them. I've got to say, Ross Fawcett, he's lagging in the stakes in terms of participation. 71.
That is still some
unofficially
going.
It's still some going. That's still well over a year of Sunday spent on the Sunday Race Club, and it gives you an indication of the commitment of our riders. Interestingly, Ross Fawcett, you were talking about his form. I was just having a look. His last win was on the Jebel Hafeet back in December, and that's really telling because he is indeed coming back into form. Good to see Walter at the moment on our screen. Simon Walter,
that
definitely
was a great effort.
It was a fantastic climb. He's been rewarded with the polka dot skin suit and with good reason. We see him week in, week out, really giving it some, and he's going to be rewarded because that polka dot skin suit means he's got the fastest through the segment up there. But not only there, he's also got that because that's the Leeward Desert climb. That's the second of our climbs. That means he's going to take away the prizes for the top prize for winning the climb segments overall. So a great ride by him. So Simon Walter in the polka dot skin suit on the category 2 race. In category 1, the aquarium climb, the fastest time up the aquarium climb in category 1 going to Michael Knudsen. He is the current leader in category 1 in the polka dot skin suit, the climbs competition. Van Elst in second, Kaminsky in third, Cal Power in fourth, and Niall Petterson in fifth. They've got 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1 points respectively. It's going to be critical where they come on this climb as to who is taking away the climb competition overall. This will be key, the next few 100 meters.
And look, the polka dot skin suit at the back of the group. And that, again, is another technique for getting the fastest time. So Knudsen in that polka dot skin suit at the back of the group. Now watch him try and work his way through to the front as they come to the polka dots banner. If you go into a bottom of a climb with a group, sit at the back, because technically it's the time that counts. And if all you do is move from the back of the group to the front of the group, then you've got the fastest time on the climb. But Michael Vink digging in deep with Hayden Pucker at the moment.
And this is the danger, isn't it? You start too far back. So you want to start at the back to get the fastest time through the segment, but you've got to then move up when Vink goes, because at the top of this climb, this 2-stage climb, as you go over into that flat section, that's where the time is made. That's where the distance is made. That's where the gap is put in. It happens time and time again. It's no good being in contention to the last 2 meters and then letting go. You've got to push right the way over the top. Vink pushes. He's got Pucker for company. Hayden Pucker on his wheels. It's a 2-second gap back to the rest of the bunch, being led by Jason Osborne, the world champion. Michael Knudsen right on his heels. Marshall Wu in the mix. So is Van Elst. They're going to look to close this down as they come up over the top. And for all of the playing with position in the bunch, if you see an attack by a race winner go on the climb, they could open up more time and take away that segment time. There needs to be a response here for Knudsen in terms of taking away the top spot. He wants points on this. He can't be below the top 5 if he wants points. But look at this. The race has opened up. And because this is a scramble for the overall, for the race overall, it's not just about the segment prices. Fink pushes on. He's really giving this big gas at the moment. Pucker goes with him, and they continue to push. 8.5 watts per kilo still coming out of Michael Vink. This is going to do damage. If you are not in contention now, you are in trouble.
Yeah, and this is not about the climb. This is about the race attack and hiding the race attack on the climb. So Vink, well, take a look at that. doesn't take the fastest time up the climb. Michael Knudsen does. Moving from the back of the group to the front of the group was the way to do it. So Knudsen takes the time and continues to take the points in that competition in Category 1. 3:03. Simon Betts, 3:18. Kochkov, 3:38. 3:43 for Daniel Cadiz. Mark Tong, 3:49. And Thomas Dvorak at 4:15. Fabulous times on that climb, right the way across those 6 categories.
So Dvorak tapping out the nose smoothly there, taking away the gap as we see an attack on the front now. 2 very experienced escapees. Peter Milostic, the father of Lyndon and Riley, a former road pro, I think, if I remember correctly, in Peter Milostic, alongside Mr. X100. These two are regularly out on the race route away and clear at the moment. Their gap is 7 seconds. Betty, Krasnich, Mendakwicz, Walter, all in the group behind. So is Cantazaro. They want to let these riders go a little way just to take some pressure off, I think, but then close the gap down when it matters. The Category 2 riders at 25 kilometres, just ticking over 23 kilometres underneath the wheels for our Category 1 group, and the group has fractured. It's fractured big style. The pressure that was applied at the front of the race has produced a race-winning move, in my eyes, at least made a very, very, very select group of the riders at the front. Pilker, Vujasin, Tugels, Vink, Wu, Safrazadi, Jones, all in the mix with Benitza. But this is the group you need to be in. If you are not in this group on our screens in Category 1, you're not going to be in with a chance of taking the win at the finish, because the riders behind are not going to get back. There is too much firepower. And even if probably half of this group hesitated and weren't prepared to pull, you're still not going to get back to them. There is just too much power in this front group.
Well, I tell you, Peter Milostic's best position ever in the National Individual Time Trial Championships on Australia, second in 2004.
Wow.
Form 4 years. Time trial specialist.
He must have beat some serious names there as well.
Oh, yeah. But regularly in the top 10. Absolutely phenomenal time trialer.
Peter Milostic, great race, great rider. Making his way in and through. I'm just going to steal some of Emma's equipment in the studio here.
Well, I'll tell you what, X100, Peter Milostic and Phil Graves are 3 riders now at the top here. 26.4 kilometres into this race. The riders moving away. David Dunn, Daniel Mundell coming over as well. Now, that's an interesting move. Just coming up onto Rick Van Urk, the rider we saw put in a really fast sprint first at the Aldar HQ sprint in Category 3. He's going to sit in the group, but Phil Graves continuing to push on X100. They want to keep this pace strong. They're up on over 40 kilometres an hour at the moment, and they're now going to start that real transition. It's a long run through to the first section of climbs at Tel Marie, but they do not want to make this easy for everybody.
Well, I was just taking a little bit of a quick look at Peter Milostic's result in that time trial. I'm just going to go to that. That was in 2004. 2004 is the year after I finished racing competitively. 2003, I raced against Stuart Dangerfield, somebody who Peter Milostic beat back in 2004. He actually put 20 seconds into him in the national time trial. In Australia. Stuart Dangerfield, a British rider who spent most of his summers in Australia, most of UK winters in the Australian summers. So, yeah, that is absolute class.
There is a theory called 6 degrees of separation. That anybody around the world, you are only 6 people from.
Okay.
At a maximum. You and Peter Milostic, even before Sunday Race Club, it was just 1.
There you go.
1 degree of separation.
Yes.
You didn't even realise it.
No, didn't know that.
There we go.
Yeah. So All our riders up and racing. Dylan Kennett leading in category 5 at the moment. Just putting the pressure on here at 37.7k into our 45 kilometers as they make their way up this climb. As we take a look on our left-hand screen at category 5, right-hand side of the screen, Thomas Dvorak at the moment. He is leading in category 6. He's got the gap on Riley Milostic, Drew Abbott, David Milano, Julio Orrego, as well as Alan Steele and Vladimir Torre. In fact, that big chasing group behind Dvorak really starting to push on. And Dvorak at the moment looking good. Still got some distance to go. The big climb, though, that he's hitting here, this is the Tel Marib Dune climb. He's just got underneath the polka dot button. He's carrying lots of pace with that momentum.
And that is one of the real tips and keys. The tips and keys? The key tips here. Get my words in the right order. One of the key tips here, really utilising the downhills to take that momentum into the climbs. Really, really a key skill. But the pack behind having done the same, and well, look at that. They are quickly on his heels.
So here we go. The category 6 riders are furthest down the race route. They've been racing for 1 hour and 5 minutes. Category 5, 1 hour, 55 minutes, or just over now for category 4. The 4 sets of riders on your screen separated out 5 minutes between each category, between 4 and 3, and 2 separated by 10 minutes, so a slightly bigger gap. If we had 2 more balls to the left of your screen, that would be categories 1 and 2. But these 4 very close together on their departure and very close together out on race route, separated by 5, just under 5 kilometres at the moment. Alan Steele leading the category 6 race, the furthest rider down race route at the moment at 39.1 kilometres. Each and every week, the MyWhoosh Sunday Race Club are bringing you race action across all 6 race categories rather than just our elites. All riders are subject to verification across all of our race categories. All of our riders have to go through the video checks, the weigh-ins, the height measurement, as well as having the prescribed set of equipment. You can find out all the details on the MyWhoosh.com website underneath the race manual. Don't forget, of course, that we bring coverage of all 6 race categories to you each and every week. We being not just Emma Martin in the commentary box alongside me and Matt Payne, both, of course, commentators for MyWhoosh for some years now, but also, of course, the big team behind the scenes in broadcast, as well as the people who actually make the game happen. Now, big sprint here as they go through. Carlos Ospina putting in the fastest time there alongside Rick Van Erck, interestingly. The Category 2 and Category 3 sprint leaders going through together.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. Love it. Neck and neck, battling each other. Ospina,
producing fast times.
Oh, I know. Rick Van Erck, we've talked about him before in terms of took that first sprint of Category 3, continuing to do that. Carlos Ospina in Category 2, absolutely a class rider. Has podiumed in the National Time Trial Championships, has podiumed in the National Road Race. He is a star.
Is indeed. Let's go across from our categories to Category 2. Now, as we see one of the teammates of Mr. X100, part of that UAE clan team, SS, on the move. Now, SS and Mr. X100, 2 very different styles. Mr. X100, very good on those long efforts, the long, big climbs. SS, really a more of a sprint attack, and a rider who's come back and is back to his best once again. They're making the racing hard here in Category 2. Long-time adversary, Phil Graves, is on his way up here as well. I mean, we're talking about the racing way back. If you go way back, SS, Mr. X100 and Phil Graves, they were up there and racing out at the front of the races a long time ago. They're still up and racing. As we move across to our Category 5 leader, Dylan Kennett, he has only got 6 riders in front of him on the road at the moment. Less than 100 meters separating Thomas Dvorak, who is our race leader at the moment on the right of your screen, from the leader of Category 5, who is coming up fast, Dylan Kennett, who is on the move. Dvorak at the moment, though, well, he has got every single pedal stroke right so far in terms of the climbs competition. He got the fastest time on climb number 1. He's flown up the Leeward Desert climb. He goes over the Telmarine Dune climb. He is going to take away the win in the climbs competition in Category 6. Dylan Kennett should have the fastest time up here. He put in an attack at the bottom in Category 5. You can tell that he's riding with the blue jersey. He's going to put a final kick in here. Now, this is going to give him extra points in that climbs competition. But I think we're going to have to wait for the existing leader before he came through the climb to go through. You can see the chasing group on your left-hand side here, but this chasing group of Roy Vahan, Mukhtari, Zanaska, and Zemiel does not contain the polka dot skin suit at the moment. Certainly not in within the leaders of that group as they come up. We're just seeing Mattila push on here to move up through this segment, and there's no sign at the moment of the Category 5 mountains leader prior to coming in. We're going to see who's going to take that away. Now, Kennett goes through. Dvorak goes through. Kennett has got the polka dot jersey on his shoulders. I think he's done enough to take away the lead and the overall win in that competition in Category 5. He now also has 2 riders in front of him, Dvorak and Milano, who are leading in Category 6. They are about 16 seconds up the road from Kennett. Kennett has got company, though, and this is going to be very interesting how this plays out, because Category 6 and Category 5 leaders are coming together.
They are indeed. And for anybody who is or has not been following Dylan Kennett's story, Kennett, some time ago, back in 2015, was part and parcel of the Team Pursuit World Championship squad. And absolutely a phenomenal track rider and a phenomenal rider many, many years ago, returning to racing. He joined Category 6 on the Sunday Race Club, took a few sprint wins and then took a few wins on top of that, progressed to Category 5. He's now working his way up through Category 5, and I think if he takes the win today, it'll be a second win in Category 5. He and I are having a bit of a debate and discussion at the moment. I think he's going to work his way all the way through to at least winning Category 3. He thinks Category 4 is where he's going to get to. I think I might be going to...
I wouldn't bet against him going to Category 2, to be fair.
No, neither would I. I think I've
form,
underestimated where he's going to get to.
Form is temporary, class is permanent.
Forever.
He is class. Now, Nick Scolari goes in and over the top. The man whose Strava feed has him listed as smashing biscuits and time trials. Well, at the moment, he smashed the climb. He goes over the top first. He's not got the fastest time. That goes to Daniel Cadiz, I think, going over there, certainly in terms of points. But they are just ahead of the Category 1 leaders. And the Category 1 leaders, it is Michael Vink in the yellow and in the white jersey of world champion Jason Osborne. Their gap, with this 22 seconds to Leonard Chugels and the chasers behind. Our race is really getting smashed apart here on the Telmarine course in Arabia.
It is indeed. And Vink and Osborne 1 and 2. Vink and Osborne, well, it was Osborne and Vink back in January. Will that be reversed today in April for the second edition of the Arabia Telmarine course here on the Sunday Race Club for the men? The rider on their heels, Syed Safrazadi, is on our screen at the moment. Ivan Nuki is on the heels of Vink and Osborne. Safrazadi further back in that pack. There he is, Ivan Nuki. Turn your head. He's riding the other way around. There he is. Excellent. We've got him the right way round. As if by magic, Nuki is on the back wheel of Vink and Osborne. Perfect place to be.
I tell you something, if there's ever a rider I want to go ride, not just on MyWhoosh with, but actually out on the open road, it's Ivan Nuki, but only so long as he lets me sit on his wheel and doesn't go too hard, because we know just how classy he is. When I talked about taking the suffering earlier on, I think it was...
he's also a really nice man.
He is indeed, and I think you probably would honour that and just take it easy just for me. But I tell you something, he's doing a great job. You see, he's using those skills at the moment to try and hold Vink and Osborne as long as he can. He's just now having to let go of those wheels. And Osborne and Vink now starting to ride clear of either Nuki ahead of Kirsnowski, and Velis, both class riders as well. They're on the left-hand side of your screen, right-hand side of your screen. Really interesting move, this. The breakaway of Graves, Mr. X100, and SS have gone clear. They're still clear of Milostic and Co.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, so here we go. So up on to the top of the climb, they're going to come up over the top of this ridge. Now, this is not one of our key climbs in terms of categorized climbs, but it's key and decisive in this race because we have got Theme, Miller, Nair, Ritter, Corrales all on the way. They're looking to close the gap down. Milostic's just up the road. The furthest riders down the road is the breakaway of 3 on the front of the race. This is all about pushing on. Absolutely time to shift it. They've got to move. If they don't move now, they're not going to get them back until they get down to the bottom of the descent, because we know X100 is going to push on in that descent. It's his trademark move. 14 seconds from the front of the race to Zach Nair here with Theme, with Miller, making the way up. That's Milostic just in front. They're going to get him back for certain as they go into this descent. But the Category 2 race, no longer one big bunch. It's one long line.
Well, it is indeed one long line. And just before we start heading into the finish, I have just had a message from one of the riders not racing today, normally part and parcel of the Sunday race club, Mr. Sebza. He's not racing today, but he's watching. Hello, hello. Heard us talking about racing the train in Wales and would also like to let us know there's an awesome event in Slovakia on the 14th of June called Faster Than a Train.
Yes.
Yes. This time on a bike, 60 kilometres on the road with a bit of uphill all the way.
Fantastic. Where can we follow that? Do you know?
You can race the train all over the place, whether on foot or on bike, at Faster Than a Train, if you should want to have a look.
Okay, so at Faster Than a Train, at Faster Than a Train, and see if you can race. Oh, do you know, that sounds
race
like a
the
great
train,
thing to do.
Faster Than a Train, foot, bike.
Do you know what? Where we haven't been for a while, and I think both these riders would absolutely love going back to, is the UCI course. We get to race the tram and the course, because when our riders set off from the race start in Zurich, you get out on race route and you come around the right hand turn. You go on the first time, you do a right hand turn, you race the tram, and you literally could go past. You see Category 6 getting passed by the tram, and you get to see Category 1 blast the train into the distance. Now, Dylan Kennett and Thomas Dvorak at the race lead, and it's Kennett who now takes over the front of the race, opens up the gap, goes underneath the banner. What a finish. He takes the win from Thomas Dvorak, the winner in Category 5. Category 5 winner Kennett, Category 6 winner Dvorak. Race winners in qualifier race number 3. But it's not that far behind to Category 4 and Category 3, with 2 and 1 still to come. 2 solo winners so far. Emma, Category 6 and Category 1, we saw Kennett and Dvorak solo clear.
We did.
Class ride by them. But is that indicative of what we're going to see from our elites?
Well, it's really interesting, isn't it? I said to you last time that 1.2 seconds separates the top 7 in Category 2. We could well see that. We've got big packs still rolling. Squilari is about to try and emulate Category 5 and Category 6 by continuing to push. Nick Squilari on some superb form at the moment. He's got 9 seconds of Bulgarin. Cadiz Barrett are 11 seconds behind. So is Spratt. This isn't quite over yet. There's 700 metres to go, but pretty much it's a downhill run and then a flat finish line. Squilari can hold this, but Bulgarin is desperately trying to close the gap.
Well, you talked about the track skills of Dylan Kennett. He managed to go clear and break clear. This is like a pursuit between Bulgarin and Squilari. At the moment, Nick Squilari, well, there may be biscuits at the end of this if he could take away the win. He's got to keep pushing. 200 metres to go. The banner is round that left-hand turn. Here he goes, out of the saddle. Category 6 and Category 5 were solo wins, and it's going to be a solo win for Category 4. Nick Squilari comes underneath the line. 3 solo winners from 3 categories so far on qualifier race number 3. As Bulgarin comes in, he's ahead of a chasing Spratt, Barrett and Cadiz, who will round out the top 5.
Well, should we just do a little quick run through there? because it was indeed Nick Squilari in 1, Paul Garin in 2, Barrett in 3, Spratt in 4, and Cadiz in 5. In category 5, Kennett came in first. Vaham took second, Zanaska took third, Mortek took fourth, and Roy took fifth. In category 6, we saw Dvorak come over the line in 1. Arago took second, Molano third, Millerstick took fourth, and Abbott took fifth.
So for the full results, don't forget you can go to mywhoosh.com/results. Make sure you do jump on board there. Don't forget, top 10 riders individually all take prizes in the qualifiers and in our finals. We have prizes for the segments and for the overall in terms of sprints and climbs. And of course, once we get to our finals next week, which I hope you will be joining us for, we have the team competition in as well. The top 7 teams taking away prizes in each category next week. And remember, those teams are made up of a minimum of 3 riders, and it's 3 riders' times that are added together to give the team time, a maximum of 5 riders, and that will be absolutely key. Now, we still have category 3, 2, and 1 to be decided. At the moment, category 1 are at 37.5k. Category 2 leaders at the moment, and that is our leading riders in that, currently at 38.4k. The leaders in category 3, well, Carol Sladek at the moment is at 43.4k, but 200 meters behind him, you can see on the right hand side of your screen, it's a huge group of riders all chasing, and it's a bit of a who's who of category 3.
Well, and they're 200 metres back from Schledek at the moment. So Karol Schledek, one of the Polish riders, in fact, one of the Polish live coaches, and regularly has got a strong crew on those live training sessions. He's doing the business here in category 3. He's been getting stronger and stronger. I think actually he's been really working out how to win the races necessarily than getting stronger and stronger. It's been strong in technique and race craft that he's been getting better at. And Sladek out front at the moment. Arago, the rider leading the charge behind, 22 seconds back. But take a look on the right-hand side. Arago has a big group of riders. Walter Clays is in there. Nicole Kansara is in there. Olga Kochkov is in there. It's a strong group. Bakker is in there as well, and he's been putting in some strong performances in category 3. So the question is, can Sladek stay clear? He's got the descent, and then he's got the run to the finish. Just 800 meters to go on the left-hand side of your screen. He's still about 150 meters clear.
And Sladek has so far his best result, a second. He's also got a 3rd place. This would give him the full spectrum of colours of medal. He would get gold, silver, and bronze. He's got to stay clear of the chase behind. I think he's going to do that. Karol Sladek is not going to let a win slip through his fingers. Surely at this stage, he needs to keep an eye on those riders behind, because the pace is hot behind, because they are all contesting the positions behind number 1. But at the moment, race leader is on his way in category 3. We saw a solo win in category 6, 5, and 4. It's now going to be a solo win in category 3 for Karol Sladek, who comes in underneath the line to take the win in qualifier 3.
It does indeed, and the race is on behind. Arago, Montoya, Kochkov all battling it out. Nicholas Arago absolutely dialing it on the front here. He wants 2nd place today. Walter Clays, well, he's leading the charge of the group behind. Kansara, Diduch, Paredes, all in the mix, but it is Arago who comes through for 2nd. The sprint is on for 3rd. Walter Clays picks that up from Kansara, I think. Let's take a look. Yep, Sledek in 1, Arago in 2. Clays in 3, Kansara in 4, Diduch takes 5th place today.
Well, Emma did say that we would see sprints today. She predicted some sprints. We have had some sprints. They've all been
for second,
third, and 4th places also. They've not been for the win. Now, is this going to change in category 2 and category 1? Possibly, because category 2 are long-term breakaways. It is game over. I'll have a G, please. It's a G for group. because it is a big group of riders now at the front of Category 2 coming up to the top of our final climb, our final categorized climb, the Telmarie Dune climb. The 1 kilometer, 10% slope is crested. And as they go over the top, this is the time for a counter attack. If somebody wants to do this, they have got one more substantial rise on the way through, but it's only a few hundred meters of climbing. It's going to be really, really key how these riders respond going over the top. They're just in front of the Category 1 race, and it looks to me like Michael Vink might be in trouble here because Jason Osborne, the world champion, has attacked Vink on the upper slopes here, and Vink is having to respond. Vink in the yellow, Osborne in the white of the world champion with those rainbow bands on the ends of his shorts, of his sleeves, and of course right round his midriff. The world champion Jason Osborne goes underneath the MyWhoosh climb banner here at the end of the Telmarie Dune climb, and Michael Vick has come back to him. They go in and through. They know now that they are descending towards the finish. The fastest time on that climb set by Jason Osborne, a 2 minute 30. So 2.3, 2 minutes 30 seconds, 439 from Osborne.
Yeah, now in Category 2, 2:59, Noel Beatty in 3, Francis Pino in 4, Oswaldo Gaviria in 5, and Thomas Dvorak in Category 6, all setting the fastest times in their respective categories on that Telmarie Dune climb. Well, Category 1's on the left-hand side. Vink and Osborne locked together in battle, continuing to work their way through the Category 2 race field. On the right-hand side, well, it's your main screen now. Paul Skierski, Zach Nair, Christoph Thiem, Phil Graves, Ross Fawcett, and SS. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, Carlos Ospina joins the gang as well.
So just ticking back fractionally to the Telmarie Dune climb. What time was that time by Jason Osborne? Can you remember?
2:30.
Fastest time on the
Dentist time.
Pardon?
Dentist time.
2:30. Oh dear, that's an old bad. It's a bad old joke. Fastest time on the Telmarie Dune climb. The record so far to date, the fastest time on the Telmarie Dune climb to date was Ollie Jones, set in January of this year in qualifier number 2, 2 minutes 42 seconds.
Wow.
That shows you just how fast Jason Osborne has gone up and over that climb.
Wow. Well, there we go. It takes the record as well. And I bet Michael Vink beat the old record as well in second.
100%.
But we are currently in with the Category 2 leading pack, and it is a pack. Mendakowitz and Kayan and Ritter are in the group behind. And if you look at the top right-hand corner of your screen, you can see that second group. They are not that far back at 9 seconds. And I'll tell you something, Mendakowitz is dialing it on the front at the moment to try and bring the gap and close it down to make that first group a bigger group. But Graves, SS, Nair, Thiem will not want them to rejoin.
So the express train of Category 1 starting to mix it up with Category 2 on the left-hand side of your screen as they get closer and closer to the leaders of Category 2 and closer to the finish. It could have an effect if you can jump onto the right set of wheels, and we're seeing that on the left-hand side of your screen as Miller, Biarhead, Ken all try to hitch a lift on the express train. The TJV, the high-speed train, the bullet train of Vink and Osborne, world-class riders leading Category 1. And at the moment, they're taking a little bit of shelter here, actually, from the Category 2 riders. Just taking a bit of a breather, and it shows you even the world's best need to take a little bit of a rest. Behind, right-hand side of your screen, interesting to see Paul Skierski really pushing here. 5 seconds ahead of Christoph Thiem. The groups are all over the road in Category 2. You can see chasers on the right-hand side in Category 2. Left-hand side, Michael Vink puts in a 10 watts per kilo dig. Little bit of a riser here on the way in as Vink puts the throttle to the floorboard at the moment. Osborne is responding at 10 watts per kilo to try and come back at him. Here he comes. He's onto his wheel. Vink at nearly 600 watts there on the push. But look at this. Osborne comes back, comes alongside and says, well, You tried. It hasn't worked so far.
It's like a match sprint on the track, isn't it? Cat and mouse is playing. They've got 1,700 meters still to go, and I think we're going to see this now. Who can get the better of the other? Osborne and Vink. We've seen them ride away from each other on the climbs once before. We have seen them go head to head in a sprint. Osborne got the better of Vink that day. Will it happen again, or will Michael Vink get the better of Jason Osborne for qualifier 3 in April?
You'll have to wait to find out, but you're not going to have to wait for long, because remember, this race 45 kilometers in total. The Telmarie June climb is the top of our summit of a final categorized climb. It's descent, slight rise, descent, slightly bigger rise, and then a descent to the finish, and we're not far off that descent to the finish. 43.8k is the distance covered by Mr. X100 Simon Walter. There on the right-hand side of your screen. Left-hand side of your screen, though, really interesting to see Paul Skierski here at the moment of 44.4. Is looking to continue the run of solo winners. That gap that he had opened, 11 seconds now to Forza SS Graves, 12 to Theme. Now he's distanced as well. Paul Skierski absolutely flying.
Well, Ross Fawcett is absolutely dialing it at the moment. He's at 10.3 watts per kilo, trying to close the gap down. He's not going to make it, but he is going to battle with Phil Graves for second place today. Paul Skierski is going to come over the line to win Category 2. The charge is on behind.
Second win this year, second win ever for Paul Skierski. It's a second place for Ross Fawcett. It'll be third for Maciej Mendakwicz, fourth for Forsyth now, and I think a fifth for Phil Graves there. Behind the sprint continues Theme SS and Ritter coming in, I think, in that order. Emma, can you confirm those positions?
I can. So Paul Skierski takes top spot in Category 1. Ross Fawcett
Category 2.
In Category 2. I've just upgraded him. This is the run for Category 1.
Well, let's jump in with Category 1 as the sprint is on. Osborne has gone early. There is some assistance for Michael Vink behind, because the pack is trying to come up to him as they come up towards Osborne. Osborne's going to get to the wheel. Jason Osborne, the world champion, back with a bang, back on the top step. Osborne takes the win in Category 1. He outsprints Michael Vink. He caught him up and he went down there with maximum power. He gets the gap. It's Osborne in one. It's Vink in two. And it's looking to me like we are going to see another soloing away for what is going to be a third place. Before we see our third place in Category 1 come in, just round up very quickly, Emma, top Category 2 riders.
Yeah, so Paul Skierski took the win in Category 2. Ross Fawcett came in second. Maciej Mendakwicz took third. Zach Nair fourth. Phil Graves fifth. Then SS, Theme, Ospina, Kane, Ritter, Bengston, Walter, Milostic, and L.
That's L. Fantastic riding by all of our Category 2. Now, Jason Osborne taking the win. He's ridden less than 100 Sunday race clubs. He's got over 30, I make that his 33rd win. That's over a third of the races he's ridden, he's won. He's also got 20 podium places in addition, as through the line comes in third place, Said Safrazadi. It's going to be a fourth place top 5 finish today for Marshall Wu, a rider who has consistently improved. He's going to be ahead of Leonard Chugels. Chugels should take 5th place here today from Benitza, Vujassin Puka and Van Elst. But nobody today could touch Jason Osborne. I've done the maths. He has taken a podium in over 50% of the races Jason Osborne has ridden on the Sunday Race Club.
Well, Lionel Vujassin comes across the line with Hayden Pucker on his wheels. Oh, Pucker was putting in a big dig there to try and close it down, but just running out of road. Stefan Van Elst will be the next rider in with Michael Knudsen. Let's do a quick run, shall we? So Osborne took the win, 1.1 second ahead of Michael Vink.
And in terms of the climbs competition, we're going to see, I think it should be Mr. Knudsen, who will take away the win in the climbs competition overall. Just waiting to see if he gets awarded that jersey as he comes in through the line. But this is the overall standings for all the roses that came in and through the line as it continues to update. So Jason Osborne taking the win, 1 hour, 1 minute, 33 seconds, taking course records along the route. Michael Vink, the only rider to stay with him, 1 second down at the end of the day. Say Safrasedi, another top 3 spot for Safrasedi, and he's going to take away the sprint win as well. Wu in 4th and Tugels in 5th, rounds out the top 5. It's then Panitsa, Vujassin, Puckett, Van Elst, and Knudsen in 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th places, with Michael Knudsen also taking away the win in the climbing competition. Category 1, our fastest riders of all, but don't forget all of the race results for all of our riders are on the MyWhoosh.com website. You can get there on the web page, MyWhoosh.com, then go to results, and you can find all of those results. They get an official stamp and tick when they are verified, and that verification process is complete. Those riders who have got 2 verified rides in will be moving on to our finals if they so wish next week. Our women's and men's finals coming out on the final Sunday of each and every month. And not only have we got the competitions we've had today, but we've also got that team competition coming into play as well. You can join me. It is at Matt Fixer Paint on Instagram. It's Matt Paint on Strava if you want to see just how slow and how much cake I eat on my way out and round riding. Don't forget, you can catch up with Emma Martins at biking_Emma on Instagram, and you can jump on board. There are 6 opportunities to be live coached by Emma on MyWhoosh this week. You can catch all of those details on the MyWhoosh info page and on the MyWhoosh live coaching page.
7 a.m. UK tomorrow.
If, unlike me, you're going to be joining Emma, good luck. Good luck, Emma. And I've got to say a massive thank you to everybody who messages, gets in touch. Please don't hesitate to get in touch with us. We love it when we get that interaction. It's one of the things that makes MyWhoosh so special. Each and every week we are here. Thank you very much to you, everybody who has watched. Please do remember, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on the YouTube channel. Give us a follow at Matt Fix Paint and at biking_Emma. Follow MyWhoosh. It's at MyWhoosh on Instagram and Facebook. A big thank you to the team behind the scenes. They make it happen. We quite simply put words to the action. But from Emma and myself, Matt Payne, don't forget, it's finals week next week. We'll see you again then.
Goodbye.